Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Roller to second. Rojas comes home in time. Fly ball to left field. Hernandez on the run with Pages over his head. Pages runs him over, makes the catch, sends Game 7 to the 10th. Bounces one up the middle, bets to the back, over to first to beat the champ. You gotta knock him out. The Dodgers stand tall and win back-to-back titles. Haynes King to the end zone. It is intercepted. Caden Fordham. And here they come. Back with the upset.
Raiola shotgun set. Johnson saddled right. 3 wide left. Dane Key wide right. Johnson vacates left. Chest high snap. Blitz comes. Back shoulder fade. Front right pylon. Key. He's got it. Touchdown. Huskers. Crashing over the pylon. Dane Key on a back shoulder throw. Made the twisting catch. Tumbling down into the black end zones. And the black balloons float to the heavens. 6-0 Nebraska.
To win the game, I thought the quarterback really stepped up in the third quarter, made some plays in the zone read. And, obviously this is a very bitter pill for us to swallow. We had a lot of opportunities to win the football game. Really the third quarter, a couple drives there that were just, kind of put us out of whack, and then never really were able to get back in rhythm offensively to make the plays you have to make to win the game. So, Dylan wanted to go. It didn't seem like Ravi would be able to protect himself and could go. Obviously, Pritchard went down, a place we're pretty thin at already. So, we'll see how they are tomorrow. But that'll answer your questions.
Good morning. Welcome in Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. What's up, DB?
Hi.
How we doing?
I'm good.
It's a little subdued.
So you know what I felt? I apologize because this could easily slip out of my hand, and it would. At least your ears would be protected.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna do this.
Let's try and not hit the eyeballs because we already got my own problems there.
Yeah, me too. But it's my back.
Yeah. What'd you do to your back?
No, so you're gonna be like, that's not how it works, DB. So yesterday, I probably got the best sleep I've ever. I would say not sleep, but rest. Right.
Okay.
So got up early. I had to turn right around and go to Channel 7. Stayed off social media for the most part.
It's probably for the best.
I took Zoe with me. So we rode down to Channel 7, did the filming. It's the only time I can remember messing up multiple times in a row.
Oh, really?
Oh, because I couldn't hit pause on the pad. So it was just screwing up. I was like, I can't pause it. So I'd be talking, I'd have it down, and I'd pause, and I'm like, damn it, I can't stop it.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, Zoe's just in the back where the news, where Caitlin and those guys sit, and she's just laughing, spinning around in her chair. She's not making any noise because there's only 3 people in there. It's just me, Lauren, and her.
Yeah.
So we get that out of the way, go home. She wanted, can't remember what she wanted. Anyway, I made breakfast. I used almost everything that we had from here.
Dude, that was so good. Unbelievable.
I don't even like maple.
Yeah.
Those links.
Oh, yeah. The links.
I think I had about 18 of them.
They were so good.
I'm between Friday night after our game and yesterday, I had 18. Not even including the bacon.
Yeah.
So
or the steak stuff from Omaha Steaks.
Oh, those are I doctored them up, and I have toothpicks right by the fridge.
Oh yeah.
And I put them in a tray, and they're just steak bites.
They're so good.
Fudge. Anyway,
yeah.
So we Zoomed as a staff. We had to send 2 Zoom links, which doesn't happen often, but sometimes because you only get a certain amount of time. So we got done with that about, I don't know, I would say roughly 2:30. Did a thing of laundry. Knew we weren't going to do anything elaborate for dinner. So I just lounged, literally lounged in downstairs, did laundry, lounged in the living room. And I shut it down early, like in the 8s, to watch sports.
Yeah.
Slept pretty good, but my back hurt. So the moral of the story is don't rest. It'll hurt your back. That's what I told myself.
So here's what I learned from this story is you sleep so little that the first time you ever slept a normal person amount of sleep, you realize that that's not the right mattress for you.
It's I think it's being horizontal. It's just not my thing. This is not. My back, like, it hurts.
Yeah.
So I'm about to hit the PBC 157 for the second time, baby.
BPC.
That too.
Body protecting compound.
Did you get your stuff?
No, I need to call him today.
He was gonna message you. He didn't know if you were going to the game. He was gonna. I was like, nah, I don't doing all that for him. Make him come get it. No, it was cool.
Why you gotta be like that?
Yeah, that food was. How about the bacon though?
Dude, the bacon was phenomenal. And thank you to everyone that came out. That was super cool. Like it was.
Oh yeah, that was actually fun.
Like that was really awesome to see. And then people stayed because you were doing a little film breakdown after.
And it came back to get us.
Can I ask?
So there are people on the like in my messages,
yeah,
that are now talking like I would like. Hey, was he supposed to get down here? Was he supposed like? I don't know if they like spread the word or if we're doing it enough. But when you see so much counter, and boxing versus spilling, it's like turned into legit big boy talk, which beats the whole
I love
crabby. Like, because sometimes I think we just complain. We don't even really watch what's going on. But one of the guys, I think he won. Did Kelly win the steak?
Yeah, Kelly won the steak thing. And then Jermaine won our prize thing.
Oh, a couple of our friends.
We didn't rig it. I just picked
So I didn't even know it was a thing. I heard you say drawings during the week, and I kept thinking about pictures. But so I'm getting ready to leave this morning, and of course I'm in a color I never wear.
Yeah, you never wear blue.
So
that's a Dodger shirt, isn't it? I can tell there's a Nike logo. Yep.
Come on, man. Relax.
We'll talk about that at some point.
So I'm getting ready to leave, and Zoe comes beelining around the corner. It's kind of dark, and she's like, one more hug, one more hug, one more hug. She looked at me, and she stepped back. This little girl, I'm not, no exaggeration, because you know her. She looked at me like I was short. She went, looked me up and down, and she goes, blue? You never wear blue. Only when it's your good clothes. These aren't your good clothes.
She mean like your dress clothes?
Yeah. I was like, oh, get away from me. Give me. I was so childish. I just leaned in. I didn't even let her give me a real hug. That's how she looked at me, though. But I thought about it. That's
like one of those.
She's blue.
You don't wear blue.
I don't wear blue. Yeah, it's
Oh, that's a sweet shirt, though. I like it.
I got it from Kelly.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he brought it back. I think he was in California.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if it was business or he was with Ben, but yeah, he brought it to me.
So when you were talking about
this was like 3 or 4 years. Maybe was it COVID championship? It might have been COVID championship.
So you said you were talking about the messages and people talking about big boy football. Was Kelly one of them? Or he just reminded you of him?
The Dodgers reminded me.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
And friends. No, it was so clearly Mark. And then a couple of other guys that are friends with some guys that were here.
Yeah, I do think, and I prefer it, honestly. Like I prefer the actual football discussions as opposed to narratives and whatever else we want to come up with.
Football discussions are hard, though, babe.
Yeah, no, it is because, and listen, I'm most of the time ill-equipped for them as well.
And I feel like a lot of other people are too, which is why they talk about other things.
And listen,
this one sucks.
I try, and this is one of the. I'm going to pull a DB here and give people benefit of the doubt, because I think that if they felt they could talk about football, they would.
It wouldn't be
like, I think it's not a lack of desire. I think it's a lack of information. This is why education is important, right? This is why we do some of the things we try and do. Because I want to know, and I feel like, okay, if I don't know these questions, there's probably other people that don't know these questions either, right?
Like Lance, he was fantastic.
Oh, I thought he was really good.
No, you would imagine Lance he can be snarky, right?
Sure. No, he was very inquisitive. Like, he asked good questions.
His questions were super.
Steven, our Well Actually guy, was asking good questions, giving good contributions there as well.
So of all the people that you thought, I got to find this quick, I was shocked. I mean, I'm not, because I keep telling you, he's actually a good dude.
Yeah, I get that. But, okay, so, there's this – it's funny you bring it up. So I was watching Moneyball, which I love, one of my favorite movies. And there's a line in there where Billy Beane is talking to his scouts, and they're talking about like how great this guy's swing is and stuff like that. And Billy Beane asks him a very simple question. He goes, if he's a good hitter, then why doesn't he hit good?
Is that funny?
And
you want me to say if they're good people, why don't they just?
It's a little funny.
Yeah, I get I can see what you mean with Lance. Just be like that on the internet too.
I don't know what it is. I don't know.
I'm like, there's a difference though, right? Like, it feels
clearly
like two different people.
Yeah. So this was, damn it.
Gotta get those readers out.
It didn't used to be so bad. Oh, I was in the car. That's why I didn't read this right away. So this is like at 9:15 in the morning.
Okay.
And he goes, great call last night. Felt like we gave that one away. What a great atmosphere, which I want to get to in a second, which is why my friend is up here, Kyle.
Oh, we got KC up.
He said, 2 things I'd like to see you guys take a deep dive in. Now, keep in mind, this is the same guy that infuriates you, right? And he makes me mad, too. I'm not even going to cap. Like, he doesn't drive me up the wall with some of his snark. But, again, that is kind of just him. Anywho, he says, 2 things I would like to see you guys take a deep dive this week. We seem to struggle to extend leads. I don't know if it's complacency / coaching / PC or lack of focus, but we seem to play better down or tied. The number of times we have a lead that instead of building on, we give it up in both halves we've had, especially when we have chances to go up 2 scores. Is that a part of learning to win? If so, at some point, I want to see them do it. Number 2, run defense. Is it scheme? Is it personnel? Is it effort? Like, that's legit.
Those are real questions. I want to talk about both of them.
And that's what I would invest in.
Yeah, that's the type of those are questions.
This is something that I would invest in.
Because that's somebody that sounds like they want to learn.
Yep. So I'm always going to ride with those people.
I can appreciate that.
I just am.
Yeah.
So, because I'm not always going to be right, but I am. But one thing I do want to do is have open dialogue.
And you'll be well informed whether you're right or not.
100%.
Like, that's always like that is a deep.
Otherwise,
staple.
I'm just.
Yeah, otherwise, you're just not going to say anything.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat it. Be like, or say,
well, I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, which I appreciate, right? Because
I don't know. I don't know enough. Man.
Too many people don't know, and they act like they do, and that's where we start to get.
But I am a little surprised that, and sometimes, and I get it, man. Because I have 2 buddies that are like this. Because there's 2 guys in particular that they like to listen to, and I don't. I mean, you're a grown up, right? You can do what you want to do.
Listen to whoever you want to.
But I do implore people. You've heard me go on a rant about if people get information from you, and you are an informational source,
you have an obligation.
I feel like it is your fiduciary responsibility to at least somewhat know what you're talking about.
At least try.
And if you don't, just say it's my opinion. But when we do like sweeping generalizations or these narratives and people glob onto them, they don't have enough information. And I'm not saying, because what those people would say to me is they'd be like, man, DB, like, you think this way and I think this way. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. But when you say this, what does this mean? Because I think I can disprove this, even though it's your opinion.
Sure.
I think I can disprove this.
By showing that maybe it's not a well-informed
But who wants to
opinion?
be around the Richard Head friend that is like,
well, actually.
why'd you say, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no, I get it.
So I just have to let it go.
You don't have
it's
to.
Not my, no, I do. I don't want that kind of relationship.
That's fair. That's fair.
I just don't. But what happens is people will regurgitate it, and then we have to have those conversations.
They regurgitate it
and I
as
was
fact.
like,
that's the problem.
who said that?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
There's a lot of things I said. Who said that too, over the last weekend or so?
I don't know.
I'd like to get into.
Jada, she doesn't say boo about anything unless she's mad. And I didn't see it. And my man Eric, like, even she was mad, and she's around other parents.
Yeah.
I'm not there.
Yeah.
She's around other parents, but like, what was her? He sent it to me. Now I got to find it because I didn't see it real time.
Which part?
He said the other half of your household was pretty pissed. Apparently she's fed up. Now, I didn't have any idea. And so he sent me this. And this is not even anything she does. She goes, I don't say much often on Twitter, but the amount of Nebraska fans, and she dropped it in air quotes, and the hate on Nebraska is unreal to me. This week has said a lot about people's true colors. Structured criticism is one thing. Now, this is different. This is her, not like this is how she is. Being a jerk is another. And I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah. Well, what'd you ask me when you walked in here today?
The retort. Oh, like when I first came through?
Yeah.
After I said, does it seem like it's a little more angry and toxic than normal or not?
Yeah, I think it does.
Like that's how it feels.
Yeah, that's the sense that I get.
But I took a day off of social media.
It's probably for the best. There's a lot going on.
I can't wait to hear what some of this is.
There's a lot going on.
Does that make sense?
No, I agree. I think I don't have a good reason why. I mean, I could make the argument that just like as a society, we're a little bit more angry and toxic than we've been in a while. So maybe that's part of it. And it just spills over to sports, which wasn't the case. But I don't know how anybody watched that game. I really don't. I'm not trying to be like, and again,
before you go, because I'm just going to lay out for you. Can I read this from Steve?
Absolutely.
I think this is how I like to function.
Yeah.
Right? This is how I read paper. This is how I used to consume information. I'm friends with people that have written bad things about me. Like, it's fine, right? Steve says, listening to only the opinions that fit your own narrative is what we are about as a nation, not just a fan. Being willing to hear opposite or just other views on any topic is the only way we can learn and grow. Does that sound familiar?
Absolutely.
You used to get mad at me for that, philosoph. But I rock with it.
I get mad because I think you take it too
not
far. But yes.
You think I take it too far?
I think you are willing to listen to people that you know don't have your best interest at heart, and that's where I draw lines.
Anywho,
that's where
this is not just a sports take, Steve. That's going to get a like. That's going to get a retweet.
Yeah, I think he's 100% correct. That's what I mean by we're a more toxic just society than we used to be.
Okay.
Right? And because I don't know how you can watch that game. And listen, I understand being frustrated with a lot of things. I do. I don't understand how you can watch that game and take away some of the narratives that I've heard fans, other media members, whoever talk about. I mean, there were some, and listen, I get that I am probably one of the more like fan-y type media people out there. Right.
Fan-y.
Like I project myself as a fan a lot, like because I care about the program.
You're always going to take a back seat to my guy, Jack Mitchell.
Fair. Yeah, fair.
Who, by the way, sent me one of the greatest texts ever. He said a mouthful without saying anything.
Yeah.
Jack, you get a hug.
Like, I think people.
I gave him a heart emoji. Is that weird?
No, I do the heart emoji all the time.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the thumb up, for whatever, the thumbs up feels passive aggressive to me.
Yeah, I'm not. So I do that when I want to make people mad.
Yeah, like I feel like the thumbs up is passive aggressive. So if I actually like something, I heart it.
I'm not. Yeah. So I think I'm either only. We won't get into that. I only use a few emojis.
But I sit here and I go, okay, I don't know how you can watch that game. And I get being frustrated in the moment. I really do. Like, it's not like I sat there and enjoyed watching King Miller go for 8 or 9 a carry. Like, that sucks to watch. I get that. But at the end of the day, I don't know how you sit there and go, oh, the defense wasn't good enough. Or, like, I sit there and go, okay, because there's a lot of narratives, and we're going to check them off one by one on the ones I don't understand. Because, number one, I don't understand how you can watch that and be mad at the defense, right? Does it suck to watch a team run the way USC did? Absolutely. Is that also a USC team that averages twice that many points per game and over 200 more yards per game than that? Absolutely. Is that a USC team that even in conference, if you want to be like, oh, let's take away the garbage teams that everybody plays, by the way, but let's take away the garbage teams and say, hey, they still average 12 points per game less Or they still average 12 points per game more than they had against Nebraska? Yeah, that's also true. Is this only the second time this season they've been held under 400 yards of total offense? Yeah, that's also true. Was the other defense Notre Dame that we universally think is pretty good? Yeah, that's also true. Has Lincoln Riley been only held to 21 points or fewer 6 times in the 4 years he's been at USC? Yeah, that's also true. So maybe the defense wasn't the problem. Maybe. Right? So I don't know how you watch that game and see 337 yards of total offense, 21 points, for a team that is literally I think literally the best offense in the country, and say, defense was the problem, right? I get we don't like how it feels in the moment, right? Defense wasn't the problem. I don't know how you can watch that game, and at the very beginning of the third quarter, by the way, we're talking 13 minutes left in the third quarter. Is that almost all of it? Yes, it is. 13 minutes left in the first quarter. Your starting quarterback goes down. That's half the game. Nebraska was up 14-6 at that point. Do you think not having your starting quarterback might matter for an entire half of a game where you only score 3 points the rest of the way? Yeah, I think it might. That seems like a problem. I don't know how you can sit there and say, Nebraska. Listen, were there coaching decisions I didn't love? Absolutely. I thought Lance brought up a great point about maybe getting a little conservative when Nebraska's up. When Nebraska's up 7-0, they get the ball back after their second straight 3 and out.
I don't know if you heard this, but the play DR got hurt. The negative folks in my DMs were mad at the play call.
We'll get to play calls.
Because there's one sequence that jumps out at me that needs probably a wrist slap.
Yeah, so I think there were 2 that I didn't love.
Okay, well, hold it. Go ahead, do your thing.
But this isn't to say that the coaching is 100% perfect. But I don't know how you can watch that game and sit there and think anything other than Nebraska lost because their starting quarterback and left tackle got hurt on back-to-back plays. It literally consecutive plays. I said the same series on Twitter. I was wrong. The sack ended one series. Pritchett got hurt on the very next play of the next series, which was 3 plays apart because of the Andrew Marshall interception. So, the Andrew Marshall interception was before that. But, it was literally 3 plays apart in real time. So they get hurt in back-to-back offensive plays with almost the entire second half left, and Nebraska is up at that point, 14-6, when Dylan Raiola goes down. I don't know how you watch that and say, Nebraska got out-coached. Nebraska held Lincoln Riley, who we all week, genius, right? Offensive genius. Full stop. And I agree, by the way. I'm not saying he's not.
Statistics backed you up, or us up, or them, or whomever.
And now statistics back up that Nebraska did a good job game planning against that offense. 21 points, 337 yards, well below almost half of their averages on both of those. This was a very, very good defensive performance, even if we didn't like how it felt and looked in the moment. The results speak for themselves, right? Everybody tells me, it's not about the metrics, whatever. It's about the points, idiot, right? Well, they scored half as many points as they normally do. So I don't know what to do with that if you think that's a bad coaching performance. Anyway, offensively, I don't know how you look at that and say, hey, they scored 14 points in the first half. Starting quarterback gets hurt as they're moving the ball, by the way, in the second half, and they're in USC territory when he gets, by the way, pretty dirty freaking tackle.
Yeah, so
that's a hip drop. That's illegal in the NFL.
Go ahead, do your thing.
Right? That's illegal in the NFL?
How do I feel about those?
Hate them.
Fine. I'm not.
I thought it was a dirty tackle. I get that it's not technically illegal in college football. That sucks, USC. That was crappy. Maybe he didn't do it on purpose. Sure felt like he tried to give a little piggyback ride on Dylan there and knock his legs out. Because I see your legs kick in between his. That doesn't feel like real accidental. I'm just saying. Whatever. Anyway, I don't know how you watch that game. And listen, I get the field goal sequence. Gets people mad about, hey, were they going for it? Were they not going for it? If they make the field goal, I know people don't like this. If they make the field goal, we're not talking about it, first of all. Even though it doesn't really change the results of the game, probably. But if they make the field goal, we're not talking about the indecision or whatever. And if you listen to the press conference, which I think most of you do, I thought the explanation made a lot of sense. They were never going to go for it.
Which was real time.
Yeah, it was immediately after. He says, hey, we were going for cadence.
No, the press conference was real time.
Right. So if you go and listen to the press conference, and Coach Rule was asked about this. He says, hey, we were going for cadence, see if we could draw him off. Then we called the timeout, brought the kicker out. He's made a 53-yarder earlier this year. We thought he had 52 from that spot in his bag, so we gave him an opportunity to get points on the board. Same people that are upset when he said, hey, just take the points. He was trying to take the points. I understand that. I didn't have a problem with it. I get maybe we didn't like the mechanics of how it looked. I don't have a problem with that decision making. If you would have been like, hey, I wish we would just go for it. Emmett's kind of eaten. Let's just try and get a yard. Okay, fair. I understand that. But at the end of the day, if Dylan Raiola doesn't get hurt, I 100% believe Nebraska wins that game. I zero doubt in my mind. I don't think there's any question.
I'm trying to get past the tackle to so I can grow up again.
Sorry. It bothered me real time. It bothered me on rewatch.
I talk about those tackles all the time, whether it involves Nebraska or it doesn't. I've had a couple meltdowns on this show where I'll tell you, even coaching our players at the high school level, we don't do that. I say stay off guys' backs. Like the one time that they'll see Coach Benning come unglued is when we tackle like that. Like, so I don't want to do that. My heart breaks. Absolutely for Dylan. And I think, was fortunate. Unfortunately, a couple screenshots and stuff get shared from coaches and what people think about decisions real time and about Dylan's character real time and could he really play and didn't want to play and all this type of stuff. And real time when Coach Rule was giving the press conference about, hey, I felt like I had to protect him. Like I didn't think he could defend himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you want to talk full stop. I was so bothered by the tackle that, and I wanted him to be okay because clearly his dad and I are close. Dylan and I were fine, but I talked to his dad way more. So if you're rocking with his dad, if I'm rocking with his family, then I'm rocking with the whole family. So, like, I'm beside myself, and I'm trying to laugh it off, and we'll talk to her on Wednesday. But I want to tell you that directly affected something that didn't have anything to do with anything because of the emotions. So I'm wondering if he's okay.
Yeah.
Right? And I hated the tackle. I didn't know if it was going to be head-to-head. I didn't like the excess part of the tackle, but I didn't want that to come across on the broadcast. So real time, I've got to eat it. And I look at the replay, and I've got to eat it. So it's like, okay, like this is just real life what's going on in my brain. Be professional, be professional. Not only is that a family you love, that's a way to tackle in which, like I got mad in the Cincinnati. Like I'm on record for not liking those tackles. And so Jess is trying to do her job, and she can see better. She can hear better. She's there. So there's a stretch where they're getting ready to take the field, and I can see Dylan trying to warm up. In my head, I'm like, come on, kid. Like, come on, kid. Like, just a sprain. Come on, kid. And she's like, he's going in. No, he's not. She's just trying to walk us through what she's actually saying.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, is he going in or not? Like, help me out here. Help me out. I thought I laughed. Maybe I didn't. Apparently it wasn't funny to her. Like, she's like, hey, I'm just trying to keep you in the loop. I was like, hey, I was joking. So even though I knew my heart,
Sure.
I was mad.
Yeah, it's a stressful situation.
That was her response to me. Because when I tried to ask, well, anyway, it just didn't go well, right? And I'm like, I looked at Casey, to Ben, he was like, and he said it on air, which really helped. He goes, hey, it's stressful time. Like he just, I mean, in a pinch, like he rallied. And I was.
Like you can ride with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it provided clarity for what the moment was, right? And you could recalibrate. And so when people have all these sweeping judgments, and it's an emotional thing, right?
Yeah.
Fans, it's emotional. Media, it's emotional. Media was on edge this week. The backstories and where you eat and stuff. I mean, there was a lot of things going on other than the actual game.
Yeah.
It was an emotional week. Like, but these guys came out ready to play. And so The atmosphere, I watched all day. I got there early. I didn't know when people were going to leave, so I left early. I sat in the media parking lot. I did a lot of the huddle stuff. I'm watching the fans. I backed in. I left the car running. I'm just chopping up
Mm-hmm.
the huddle stuff. I got one of the football games on, so I was there a good hour and a half early, just watching.
Mm.
I mean, early.
Yeah.
Like I think I rolled in at 12,
Oof.
12:15.
Yeah.
At the latest.
And people were down there early.
So, because I wanted to feel it kind of lets me know. I just let it wash over me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm just thinking to myself, oh, they're in black, they're in black, they're in black. Oh, the band's in black. The pep band's warming up behind me. This family parked next to me from Sioux Falls. They were traveling. I don't know how they got in the lot, but I mean, shout out to them. And so I'm like, all right. Then you're down on the field. And it's early, and Jess and I are doing our hit, and I'm like, okay, like even B Mac was like, God, you could this feels different.
Mm-hmm.
And we walked in. You have to ask Jess on Wednesday what time we do the hits, but they're early.
Yeah,
they got to be a couple hours, I think.
Beforehand?
I would know, maybe an hour and a half. Let's say an hour and a half. Because what time do the gates actually open? Is it
90
an hour
minutes.
and a half?
Yeah, 90 minutes.
Student section was full.
Yeah, immediately.
So I'm getting ready to do the hit, and
Yeah.
I looked at Jess and I go, "Is this like this is ridiculous?" And the whole thing was black.
Mm-hmm. It looked incredible.
So in my head, all I could think about was, man, the fan base they answered the
Oh,
the dinner
100%.
bell.
Absolutely, they did.
I didn't get in depth on what the theme for the week was, but it was bigger than just a blackout for those guys.
Mm-hmm.
As a team and a coaching staff, which I felt like was cool, and the energy was electric. So I asked KC, because we just lay out and we just let him do his thing for the tunnel walk, and we go to break right after they do the coin toss. I mean, he had TRAE out there, he had Aaron Taylor out there. I mean, these aren't guys that just normally
Mm-hmm.
are out there and like
Hanging around.
Yeah. Right. So there's a certain level of appreciation for a guy that's kind of bringing guys together too.
Mm-hmm.
Right. With Coach Rule. So there's that part of it too. So I'm kind of emotional. I just saw Aaron, he stood with me at the memorial service. I obviously think a lot of Aaron Taylor. I obviously think a lot of TRAE. So I'm like, this is pretty cool. So I looked at Casey. I just wanted confirmation about my emotions, and is this just me being a baby, a Pisces, an alum, everything I tell myself to be self-deprecating, right?
Sure.
And he sat back in his chair and he goes, "This is amazing. This is so cool. I can't believe they pulled this off."
Mm-hmm.
And he sits back and he just let it wash. This is an objective guy. He's not even a fan yet.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But just to watch him, and it's not his style. He's kind of tough and he's very direct and particular. And to allow himself to just enjoy the environment was so cool. So I say all that to say, why, for the first time in a long time, did I get off social media? I almost never do. It's whatever, man. I read a lot of good things.
You compartmentalize pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Better than I do.
But I just knew what the moment meant for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it was good for an objective, soon to be converted third party.
Yeah.
It was good for me. It was good for the fan base. It was good for some of the former guys that can't get out of their own way about gimmicks and stunts and publicity things and just playing ball, because they played ball, right? I loved the black, but B Mac was like, "Do you like the uniform style?" And I was like, "Nah, to be honest, I kind of don't." The fat white numbers is kind of jailbirdy, but I love the black, right?
Yeah.
But I told him, I was like, "Yeah." I said, "If we're rocking, I'm rocking." I said, "Plus, I can read the numbers. Now, will you fix my binoculars?" So I gave him the binoculars. I swear to goodness, I gave him the binoculars, and he goes, "How do these get so out of whack from the last time that I fixed them to when you give them back to me?" I was like, "Don't be mad, man. Just help me out, right?"
That's probably my fault.
Yeah. That was horrible.
I could see fine out of him.
I mean, that was absolutely. So the whole emotion things, and after the game, and just like the anger. I'm like, we missed the mark.
Yeah.
And I had to put the phone down or social media down. I had a guy say this to me. He's not saying it to me, so I'm not being, I can't. My cut's so bad I can't even unlock my phone. Stupid thing.
By the way, did you like the way the field looked?
The field was outstanding, and I'm kind of just line up and play it guy.
Mm-hmm.
So for me to like it, it was truly pretty cool. But so this is the one where I was like, okay, this is just not gonna be a good weekend because my man truly doesn't get it, and it can't always be about the individual. My man goes, this was in response. So he waited till the loss, which bugged me. Right? Like he didn't say anything real time when I sent it.
Mm-hmm.
And why it's not pulling up now. It's I tweeted out the picture and it just said for perspective. And he comes back with we deserve better. I'm guessing by we he means the fans.
Sure.
Fans want to win more than the players or coaches do every freaking year. And I just was like, I can't. I don't. He may want us to win really, 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 really bad.
Sure.
So I didn't want to get it. And you're going to be like, oh, give him the benefit of the doubt. And maybe he does. Maybe he does want them to win at a high elite level that I can't comprehend.
Sure.
So I let it go because the general sweeping statement as if to infer that those guys don't want to win or they don't spend time away from this isn't gonna work. Like I know where I'm bad,
Mm-hmm.
so instead of
that was gonna go bad.
So instead of just trying to fight it, shut her down.
Can I
don't understand unless you just.
So I think it's different.
Okay.
Right? Because this is a great example of if we don't educate ourselves enough about the actual football of it, sometimes we have.
Les is mad at Nortec. What is Nortec doing? Les doesn't get mad at anybody.
Nortec is claiming that Nortec and Captain are both claiming that it wasn't a dirty tackle on Dylan.
Oh, okay.
So they're just out doing their own thing, which is fine.
I'm cool. All right, sorry.
Anyway, so I think there's a couple things here. Number one, it goes back to the trying to educate yourself on football thing we talked about earlier, where if you're not equipped with the information to look and see what's happening and say, hey, there are some logistical, schematic, execution, whatever reasons on the football field that they're not winning, then you have to go things like effort and care and whatever else, right? That's the only option you're left with. Otherwise, you just have to say, or you say things like, well, we just have enough talent or whatever, right? You go to the things that you can kind of point to that aren't too football-y, right? And listen, I've done the same thing. I'm trying to equip myself with as much information as I can. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I think the way fans care and the way players and coaches care are different. Fans are very emotional. We think because we are more emotional, we care more. That's not true, right? Care shows up in different ways. I would argue these players and coaches are playing for their livelihoods. Most of us as fans, us a little bit, but most of us as fans do not have our livelihoods depend on how the football team does. Players and coaches absolutely do. And I have a hard time imagining they care less when their livelihood is on the line. I have a hard time imagining they care less when they basically devote a full-time, not basically, literally devote a full-time job to trying to win football games, right? So I have a hard time imagining they care less. I can imagine they're less emotional, and I think that's what we see. Sometimes we see less emotion. We assume people care less. That's not a one-to-one comparison. We have different jobs in this scenario. Our job allows us to be a little bit more emotional. I say our as fans, not as media members. our job as fans allows us to be a little bit more emotional. As players and coaches, you can't really afford that. You can't afford to be swayed by your emotions that way. Otherwise, you will never get across the finish line. You will never get the things done you're trying to get done. So I can get how it feels like maybe they don't care as much because we don't see the emotion the same way. But I would argue, like, there is so much channeled emotion that just looks different than what our emotions look like that we just don't see it. I mean, I don't think Coach Rule's freaking out at Turner Corcoran getting pushed and not getting a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on it because he doesn't care, because he's not emotional in that moment about what's going on. Like, he seemed like he cared a lot there. And you could point to a million things throughout the game. I had people saying he was too mad during the game and too much focusing on the referees and not enough on coaching. And that's why the game management was supposedly so poor. It can't be both, right? It can't be both. I think it just looks different than what we're comfortable with for what caring should look like.
Yeah, I think the key for these guys, I said it to a lot of the players at the complex, and it's going to be huge when you go to Pasadena, is these guys got to figure out, and a lot of it is what you're talking about, but just in a different form. Sometimes you got to be able to function at an optimum level. I said optimum, not because it's relative to what you think you can give. So if you don't feel great, give it all. If emotionally you're a little, give it all. What's your 70%? I say it all the time because not everybody feels great all the time. So, but what we do is because we don't feel great, we don't give any.
Yeah, can you give 100% of your 70%?
Whatever you got, give it to me.
Right?
I mean, just try it.
Yeah.
Just try it. Like when you don't feel good, whether it's emotional or physically, and it derails you to the end, just try giving what you have as opposed to shutting it down.
Yeah.
We do it all the time. Problem is when you're competing and you get tallies, you can get L's.
Yeah.
You can get W's. So when you're learning how to win or stay on the gas or not ride the EKG of emotions, and this isn't just a Nebraska thing, this is a sports thing. There's a winning on the road versus at home versus down versus all these things matter, but at the end of the day, or variables, but at the end of the day is what's my 70% like? What's my 75% like? Sometimes you get out of the bed and you don't feel good, and it's like, man, today's going to be such and such a day. And you resign yourself to it as opposed to, man, I don't feel good, but I'm going to give it what I got.
I got to buckle down.
I'm going to give it what I got.
Yeah.
Like the more you can do that in competitions, the better chance you're going to have at survival. And it's not just physical. I would argue that it's more emotional because that's where you see it rear its ugly head. I mean, even some of the idiocy that we hear in the stream, it's like it's based on emotion. It's not.
I would say it almost all is.
It's not really fact-based.
Absolutely.
So, like at that point, because we feel a certain way, we're going to act a certain way.
Yeah.
And at everybody, we all listen.
I know. No, you're right. I mean, you're right.
So I think to catch it in the moment is crazy. The game is fascinating because I was walking to, I might have been talking to Ryan because his tailgate, he and Luke, which is elaborate, by the way, they had warmers and a television, and it was incredible. But I said, the weird thing about this game is if you would have just laid these stats out to me and told me the score, I'd tell you 85% of the time Nebraska wins.
I would agree.
Do you know why I kept asking the various questions about would it be about why PCs or
yards per carry, total yards,
or commitment to rushing, or who did I think would run the ball more? Because I never thought this was going to be some shootout.
Sure, yeah,
never. Even when people would use the term shootout, I would say, okay, hey.
What does that mean?
Let's define what a shoot. But I'm not going to tell people how to think.
But just tell me what you're
But
thinking.
I just want to know, so when we go back and we talk about this later, what you thought.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to pin anybody in, but I also don't want the goalpost moved either.
Yeah.
Right? Because this was the type of game Nebraska had to play defensively. I don't care what anybody says. This was the type of game. Now, you don't want to get – no one wants to give up. What did they get?
201 yards rushing. Yards per carry, I believe it ended up at 5.9.
But you had the
5.3 yards per carry.
Can I just say this?
202, 5.3.
Nortak, I'm going to rock with you and give you the benefit of the doubt. I have since you've been in here, and we only probably agree about 50% of the time, which is okay. But I just want to ask the question. Let's say the 2 guys did miss the block. Let's say 7 guys did miss the block that injured a player. And I'm not hung up on the injury. Like, it was 3 minutes of what I said, and I don't think I'm not hung up on a dirty tackle. But the continual beating of this to assess accountability, like, well, it's their fault. It's their fault. It's their fault. Are we a guy, Nortak, that excuses poor behavior because of what somebody did to them? It's just an easy yes or no question. Do we excuse poor behavior because of how somebody made them feel? Like, if you made me feel a certain way and I went out and did something that I shouldn't have done, is it your fault? I'm just checking. We can get back to that later. I'm sorry, you were going where? Guys miss blocks all the time in lots of sports. And, you know, it's like you see guys get undercut in hoops or guys get hit in the head with a pitch. And it's almost like we don't say, oh, you just got out of the way.
Right.
It's just weird what we want to gravitate towards. But we want to assess blame on missed blocks and not accountability for the action. And I'm pretty consistent with that, right? Because
I
100%. Whether it's the College Football Playoff Committee, and I hammer you about just because it always has, we always say, oh, the second guy always gets caught. Well, sometimes you got to catch the first guy. Stop resting in the fact that we always catch the second guy. Sometimes you just got to get the first guy.
Or sometimes you don't catch either.
So, and I mean, listen, when you're up, there's some real salient points I think Nebraska has to address. Now, maybe they may not present themselves for the rest of the season, and maybe they will. The playing with 2 scores, the mentality it takes from a sequential play calling standpoint, you know, the fool's gold, taking what I see versus what I need to do. There's lots in games like this, but if you would have told me, I don't know if you'd have given me 200 yards, but if you'd have given me 20 first downs apiece and 200 yards, I'd tell you that Nebraska won.
Yeah, I mean, if we just ran down it, if we just,
you know what I mean. And this isn't revision. Like, I've done this long enough to know I'm not going to go back and get and say what I didn't say. There was a reason I think we talked about, at least I did, the style of play. What would the headlines be, and the yards per versus total yards. I watched this run offense. It is amazing.
Yeah, it's really hard to defend.
The concept is amazing. And it's very – now, why doesn't everybody do it? They try, but you have to have all the pieces at the same time.
And you have to know how to get those guys to execute it in a way. Like, this goes back to my Danny.
If we wanted to take a fine, or what would happen to us, Shane, if we – well, I should ask you because we're the ones that got our wrist slapped. What would happen if we ran 2 plays, the quarterback run plays by Mayava, versus the rest of what SC was doing on the ground, and we showed that? Would we get in trouble?
Yes.
Bad?
Yeah.
Oh.
What we might be able to do – let me check with this. We might be able to do it.
Because I just think the anxiety and the angst that the fans have.
Yeah.
And it's not just fans. Just in general. It could be media. It could be whomever. On the scheme versus what you have to do. Like, clearly in plays like that, there are quarterback players. Or that's not quarterback. They're inside, outside run fitters. I'm an inside guy. I'm an outside guy. We like to say, hey, we always want 5 on dive. All that means is we want anything that hits between the tackles, we want 5. We want 5 guys there. The cavalry will come, but at the initial point of attack, we want 5 on dive. Then there's the other little rules we have, and everybody's different about exchange responsibility. I like to say, hey, belly 2, I got Q, right? If his belly is to me, I've got Q, right? 2 times we see a double, kind of a double fit where I'm just off your hip, but I'm not leveraged enough. That was Shavers on the touchdown run. Even though Petschok gets down to dive, he's a dive player.
So that was his job there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Petschok is supposed to get down to dive. I think Shavers inserts and takes the next outside run fit.
So he didn't get outside far enough.
Well, he just hesitated.
Okay.
He peeked inside because I think he thought that's where the ball went.
Gotcha.
So it's just fundamental.
Yeah.
Right. And it just is what it is, right? It's not any different than if I say 9. I think if he had it to do over again. Now, maybe Petschok is supposed to slow play, but I think he's an inside run fitter because he gives them 5. I think Shavers fits off of Petschok. I think alley running safety fits off of Shavers. That's how I think if you draw it up.
Yeah.
Now, the long run, Nebraska had 5. But what happens is it's very similar where you have one extra guy that gets down to dive that is responsible for Q.
Yeah.
Those are why those plays work. But they had been gapping you to death on the counter.
Yeah.
They hadn't really ran the ball.
No.
All game. I mean, that's just why football matters. Right? And those plays amassed for what, 40 of the running yards? 40
of his 60, yeah. Or 58, whatever he ended up with.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Especially in totality of the 200.
And especially
right? That's 20% of the play. That's 20% of the yards.
Yeah.
Like those
that matters.
That matters.
Yeah, a lot.
Like when you're actually when you go back and you watch the film versus just looking at the stats, it matters.
I've got a question for you in just a second here. Let's take a quick break, though, so that Rico and Austin don't murder us.
Wait. Okay.
Because we're about an hour in already. Let's take a quick break here. Shane will come back for a quick one, and then we'll get to Sam. That's DB. I'm Ravi. Lulla. We're here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. Don't forget, if you're on the roads this morning, make sure you got that seatbelt fastened and make it click. It prevents injuries and saves lives. This message from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. We'll be right back. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
Yeah, we thought we'd make the field goal. And that was the kick line. The kick line on that side was like, hey, I went up to the special teams coaches, and they said, no, he'll make it. It seemed like a good time to take points. He's made the 53-yarder against Kansas City, kind of a similar situation. And, at that time, I just thought, hey, if we feel good about it, let's take the points. And unfortunately, it didn't work out. So, we had planned to get up there and try to utilize cadence to try to get them to jump off sides. And obviously it didn't work. We saw him at the end. Game came down to the end. We tried to do zone read play there at the end, and on the 4th and 1, and unfortunately Emmett got tripped up. So just felt like with kind of the way things were going, take the points, and unfortunately we missed the kick.
Aspirations can drive us. Sometimes a simple gesture is what fuels the pursuit of a dream. When it's time to make your dream a reality, we are here to help. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. You make a play, it's exciting. I'm super happy that Andrew got to make that play. But at the end of the day, like we talk about, what's next, regardless if it's negative or if it's positive. And so that's a positive play, but we can't get caught up in riding the highs too much. So the energy was high for sure. It's an electric play, but I think that we did a good job of still being even kill and thinking about what we were going to do in the next drive. I didn't have anything that I said to the team after the game. But my message is that we have to come back. I'm disappointed, obviously. But at the end of the day, like, I'm proud of the team. I'm proud of everybody that played. I feel like we played really hard. And I don't want to sound like we're a victim of circumstance. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, we didn't do enough to pull out the win. So tomorrow we have to figure out what we need to do better. But at the end of the day, like, my message to the team is just don't hang your head and look to what's next, because we had a good fight. So.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Lateef out of the gun, handoff Mekhi Nelson. Whistle stop play prior to the snap. Timeout, Nebraska.
Timeout, Nebraska, first charge.
Everybody needs to settle in here.
I'll say.
Everybody up here, everybody down there, let's all settle in. Come on now. Timeout.
Oh, goodness.
What is going on?
It's anarchy.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. What's up, DB?
That was the talk.
Oh, when
the off air.
Yeah,
on
Jess
air.
was in your ear.
That's KC like corralling everybody. Swear to goodness, I didn't hear that. That's the first time I heard that. That's pretty cool though.
Yeah.
So and him checking us like that.
Everybody down there needs to settle down.
Made me laugh.
We need that for the chat today.
It made me laugh. Like he had the wherewithal.
Yeah.
That is funny. Shane, play that again. I know we got to talk to Sam, but that's
Lateef out of the gun, handoff Mekhi Nelson. Whistle
listen
stop
to
play
me.
Prior to the snap, timeout, Nebraska.
Timeout, Nebraska, first charge.
Everybody needs to settle in here.
I'll say.
Everybody up here, everybody down there, let's all settle in. Come on now.
That's the youngest guy of the bunch.
Oh,
checking everybody on that broadcast team.
Not so subtle. Everybody up here, everybody down there needs to settle in.
Get your act together.
I do have to imagine it's a little challenging, like being the youngest and the new guy in the crew, to kind of feel comfortable being like, hey, like this isn't how it's going to go.
Dude, I was shocked. He's probably looking at the look on my face like, why would she just talk to me like that? That was unnecessary.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? She hit me with bro. Where I always am, bro.
Where you at, bro?
That's what we're on. But then she'll say, bye, Shane.
She loves Shane.
Fudge. And my daughter loves her. She waits at the door for her to get there every week. And just pokes her head through the other door. And she's like, Jessica. I was like, here we go. Here we go. What's making you mad?
Nortek, he's not talking to the fans. He's talking to Jess and DB. Kyle's not talking to the fans. He's telling his broadcast crew
Nortek is on one today.
to chill out.
Wow.
Like, this isn't about you. Not everything's about you, man.
We got to pull my man away from the keyboard.
It's not he doesn't get it. He was trying to get.
He's becoming indefensible, but I'm trying.
We literally explained to you the context of that clip.
Oh, shoot.
Like, what are we doing, man?
All right.
We got Sam here.
Yeah, we got green eggs and ham.
Let's get to our guy, Sam McKEWON, Omaha World Herald. Sam, what's up, buddy?
Hey, how are you?
Oh, we're doing great.
We're good. We're good. What's going? What are you?
I got a couple of messages yesterday after the news broke of like, well, it's college basketball season.
No way.
Oh yeah, people were frustrated. I mean, people, and I told people, I'm like, listen, Nebraska can finish 9-3. They can. I mean, they got a chance. Their schedule is helpful. I don't think you'd want to be playing Ohio State and Oregon with this 22 guys, but they're not playing Ohio State and Oregon. So I'm like, hey, they can finish 9-3, and it's going to take some good coaching, and it's going to take everything they got, because there's a reason why they're now an underdog at UCLA. But there's people who are absolutely well, that's the season. I mean, there it is. Glad they made a bowl. 6-6 sounds fine, or 7-5. People are obviously, devastated, because even though people could be critical of Dylan, I think everybody understood that he was valuable to what they were trying to get done on the team. And a lot of people just don't know much about TJ Lateef, and they're going to learn that he's a pretty good player. But at this point, people don't know a lot about him, and that's so people, I think, are a little like, well, what's going to happen now?
UCLA is favored.
Yeah, they are.
The more you know.
And that does not surprise me. I think I would have had Nebraska as a 3 or 4-point favorite, maybe. I mean, Nebraska's beat up, and you know this, Damon. You've been watching. You watch every play a ton of times. You know how much they're going through, and they've remained relatively healthy in the secondary. They have. I mean, those guys are all playing, and they're playing tough, and kudos to them. But they're banged up in a lot of spots, and UCLA is going to try to run the ball 50 times, and that's what they're going to try to do, and they might have success doing it. And Nebraska was going to have a hard time winning out there no matter what. That's what I think. I think it's hard to win on the road. And this so far this year, Nebraska's went away from home three times. They won by 3 points twice, and they lost by 18. So everything is going to be challenging from here. This is not Indiana's roster, and honestly, it's not Indiana's mojo. Indiana is playing with a mojo and a confidence that's rare to see, and that's not what Nebraska's playing with right now. They got to build up to that, and they got to deal with a freshman quarterback who I think they're going to rally around. I think they're going to really come together and try to win for this kid and try to win for Dylan.
Yeah. I agree. If yesterday was any indicate, I agree with you, Sam. They're going to rally. He's going home. He's from Compton. He's well liked. I'm not going to say he's the least of their concerns as a quarterback, because the quarterback situation and it not being Dylan is huge. But TJ, the person, is not at the top of their concern list. I agree with you.
What's at the top of their concern list?
So I think right now that they got to look at that game in that environment and put it behind them, right? It was electric. You almost played that game to a T. You wanted to limit possessions. You matched them in first downs. Of the 200 yards rushing, Maeva was a good chunk of it on one series. That's correctable. Like, if you would have said you were going to hold them to 21 points with a chance to go up 2 scores in the third quarter, they're not like those are the things they have to address to move on from, in my opinion. They're going to rally.
No, I mean
they're not healthy. They're not healthy up front.
No,
but you know what? So this is I don't want to. This is
you
just
talk
me.
about offensive line.
Yeah, this is just me.
Still played pretty good.
This is just me. We didn't talk much about the quarterback pressures or whatever. TJ does give them a running aspect too. So if you want to go zone read, you can always not block one of those guys and save the jokes, guys, about whether they block them anyway. I'm not here for that. But you need to punt the ball a little bit better in a couple key spots. Like, Nebraska's going to be okay in a lot of areas. They just can't – they have to dial in on what they need to do, not what everybody else is doing. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Turner Corcoran on an offensive line can run block. Turner can block. I mean, he can run block really well. And it's too bad Pritchett got hurt. We'll figure out his status today, and our rule will tell us. But they can run block. They ran block pretty well, actually, against USC. But you got to find a way to score 21 points out there. And that's, I'm just saying, that's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
They do not have.
I'm probably more optimistic than most. But he's just good in these situations. He's just good in these situations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like they for whatever reason, they've just they scored 21 points on offense against Northwestern, and that was well done. One of those was set up by an interception. Another one was a kickoff return. They 14 of the 28 points were kind of set up that way. They just now UCLA's defense isn't very good, but they had a week of rest. And I think in their mind, they think they can still make a bowl game. And so this is their bowl game. And so they probably won't get many fans, but they'll be fired up. It'll probably help UCLA. This is going to sound crazy, but it'll help them that Nebraska fans are there. It'll give them something to juice up for, so it's not just 12,000 fans in the middle of nowhere in the Rose Bowl. So that'll probably help them a little bit to get fired up. And it's just going to be a hard game to win, and that's going to be the case all the way out here. Penn State isn't playing for anything, but if they put 11 guys on the field, their 11 guys are going to be just as good as Nebraska's 11 guys, and obviously Iowa's Iowa. So I think that they've accomplished a lot of good things this year. This does come down to coaching. Now you really lean into your staff, and you know what your defensive coaches are trying to do. And maybe this week you try to stop the run a little bit more. I actually thought Butler's strategy was kind of clever.
Me too.
It bit him a little bit on the Maeva runs, sure, but like they let him have rushing yards up until about the 40-yard line of Nebraska, and then they tightened that up and they really took away the pass.
I was pleasantly surprised about how, and the one play Marshall gave up late it's not a 50-50 ball, but that's a play more times than not he's gonna make. And the PI on Singleton in the end zone, if he just opens the other way, it was a little
brain hiccup.
It wasn't a scheme thing. He didn't have to do it. You know what I mean? So
right, yeah.
You look at some of
Yeah.
Listen, that's how coaches and players have to look at it. It's not the difference between an excuse and an explanation is accountability. That's a play. If you gave it to him again, he'd make it. It was on him. It wasn't the scheme. And Marshall is going to win more of those battles than he not. It was a heck of a catch by 16, just like the flea flicker that they had no business throwing. Like Guthrie wasn't fooled, which was a good thing. He's there. You just got to make that play. You know what I mean? Or yep. Williams, conversely, for them, on people say, well, what's wrong with Nebraska getting vertical? Well, they knocked away a couple of balls that were pretty critical. Sometimes it's not always scheme. Sometimes guys just make plays, right? It's just
that's right.
It's not anymore. It's not any more fancy than that.
Right. That's offensive defense, and I think again, I've said that think Butler's done a better job this year than people give him credit for. They are young and undersized on the front line. They in my opinion, and not as a coach or a former player, I think they need to go out and get a couple of bigger bodies, or some of the bigger bodies in the program got to play better or more or something, because I don't think, and the schedule gets a little harder next year, like you're going to have to get a little bigger there, but they'll get more experienced. They'll gain some weight. Keona Davis will weigh more next year, all that kind of stuff. On offense, it's got to be really buttoned up. And then, the game management piece has to be, as Rule would say, elite. And that means having, I actually thought that their decisions on 3rd and long in the first half to run it and then punt were great decisions. I thought that the management of the 4th down situation in the second half was unfortunate. That I don't know if Rule would go back and do it differently, but I actually think you could have punted there, and that might have been the best choice of the 3. And just said, you know what, we're going to punt the ball, and we're going to make them drive 95 yards to score a touchdown. And I don't know that USC would have done that. And so
what was it about Archie's punting up until that point that led you to believe you should punt the ball?
Well, I mean, the punt that you're going to execute in that moment isn't going to be the rollout. You're going to try to ask him to pooch punt the ball inside the 10.
I don't know.
And so, it wasn't going to be a prevent the return kind of punt. It was going to be that. What I'll say is that the option that they selected, which was burn 2 timeouts, and we don't know why the first timeout was burned. I assume that it was because Rule thought the play clock was going to run out, but it wasn't going to run out. The snap got off in time. I think maybe there was 12 guys on the field, but I don't think so. But they burned 2 timeouts and then they missed a field goal. That was not they needed the timeouts for later in the game. And then, of course, then they didn't use it on the 2-minute drill. They waited until the end. Anyway, all of those things happen because TJ Lateef is a young guy, and you got to try to prepare him for difficult moments. And he did okay. He did drop a snap, and that hurt him. But, so there's things in that moment that won't be true this week. He'll go back. They'll have a week to just prepare with him and get all the situations put together. But from here on out, they got to be incredibly good, because you can't expect TJ Lateef to make the 2 or 3 plays a game that Dylan was making. And I know that people are critical at times of Raiola's play, but he made plays 2 or 3 times a game that you cannot automatically assume that Lateef will make. And so, you have to build that in, that Dylan was doing some stuff that was pretty special at times. And he was also imperfect but doing some special things. So now it comes down to the coach, and everybody's got to be great. For what it's worth, again, I think they're all going to rally really strongly around him. And if they go win at UCLA, my God, they might win all 3 of them. Now, if they go out there and lose, they might lose all 3 of them. It's just one of those. It's suddenly become a big game, even though 3 weeks ago we didn't think it was going to be a big game at all.
Sam, how much difference in your mind does it make in terms of the skill sets of TJ Lateef and Dylan Raiola? Obviously, they do different things well, and we've seen different times in Dana's career where he's used those different skill sets in different ways. Like, how much differently do you think the offensive game plan is going to look moving forward?
I think it can look different in a week. How much can you get done? How much can you lock in? We'll see. Then you get a bye week. Then you get 2 more games. Then you get a bowl game. Presumably Dylan's not coming back for that. Maybe he would, but he doesn't have to. And then all of a sudden, now it could look a whole lot different. So, they can do some different things. He's a runner. You can get him out on the move a little bit. There's probably some play action passes where he can get out. Do you want to have designed runs where you're adding a counter, a quarterback counter, where he's just running the ball? They like RPOs. Some of their RPOs are good, and some of them aren't as good, and so they're trying to figure all that out. We'll just have to see.
We saw it on the scramble heading to the north end zone. And they were on their side of the field, but Lateef holding that long and getting like the 6 or 7 yard scramble was still having the RPO attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
Those are tough. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, the two big plays that Dylan hit to Hunter the last 2 weeks, he had one against Minnesota and then one who we played Northwestern.
That big one at Northwestern, yeah.
Where he holds it so long, just from my vantage point as a defensive guy, it's a nightmare. Lateef brings that angle every time he's in the gun with RPOs. Like, it's hard. If they can execute it, I mean, it becomes a crapshoot defensively on what you want to try to take away. He can run for 6 or he can throw it for 10, but you can't take away both.
Correct. Yeah, that's very true. This is a little bit different a shift. Like back in 21, Adrian got hurt against Wisconsin. They bring in Logan Smothers, and they almost beat Iowa, and it would have been an incredible win. And Logan Smothers is a limited passer. But he was similar enough to Adrian that they didn't have to change that much. And if he doesn't fall down on a play, they win the game. So that was more of an easier shift, I think, for Nebraska back in 21 of like, well, we're just going to do more of the things that we do with Adrian, but we're just going to run it more than we would with Adrian. We'll have Logan Smothers. This is a little different in that I think TJ's got to run it a little bit, maybe a lot more, in order to get where you need to go. And so, would they look at Dana Holgorsen knows how to do it. The head coach has got to be able to say, Dana, whatever you got to do, let's do it. Let's let it ride and let's figure it out. And if TJ gets hurt, well, then Jalen Gramstad will come in and we'll run the pro style offense again, which they already know how to do. And Jalen could go and do, under center and all of those things. But I'd try real hard to tailor the offense to him in a week and give him the opportunity to do those things. It may look different. If you got 315 yards and 21 points, I'd call it a success. And then your defense has got to go out and hold them, and I think Nebraska's defense can do that. If you walk out of the Rose Bowl with a 21-17 win, everybody's going to be slapping each other on the back and saying that's the best win of the year. I think I have a sense of how much urgency is attached now, and this is like all hands on deck. So nobody's going to be disappointed if they walk out of there with a 1-point win. It's going to be a celebration.
Sam, why do you think? Have you heard? I had this a couple of times. We're in the same place where I saw it. Where do you think fans got the notion that Lateef was ill prepared? Because I think that's not true at all.
I don't know. I don't think he was ill prepared. He dropped the snap
and bobbled another one, which,
yeah,
I mean, sometimes that's just nerves, right? That doesn't
nerves.
But
yeah.
I watch him at the line of scrimmage and play calling.
He looked like he knew what he was doing.
Looked like he was pretty prepared to me, right? Or
he was fine.
Okay.
No,
okay.
No. I don't think he was ill prepared at all. I think in that fourth down sequence. So again, Rule's arguing with the refs about the Corcoran thing, Corcoran falling over and whatever. And I don't know exactly what happened there because the NBC cameras don't give us the insight. And we as the media failed to ask the question about the first down, like what was going on there. Sean asked about the field goal and Rule answered all that, but why did the timeout get burned on the first down? I don't really know. So we'll have to ask that today. But that seemed to be a moment where something was going on. Although, again, the snap got off. So I'm not sure what the problem was. Holgorsen was, sort of calling the play. He kind of took over the team for a second while Rule was arguing with the refs about a flag that wasn't going to come. I understand why he's working them, and I get all that. I wonder what they thought when they watched the whole tape and they watched Corcoran blocking the guy in the back for 7 yards into the pile. To me, it probably should have been a flag on the USC guy, but there's a kind of justice done there. Like it probably shouldn't have been a call at all, and it wasn't. But anyway, they're kind of going back and forth there, and that was a moment, and then the play didn't get pulled off. Somebody called timeout. I assume that was Rule. So maybe that was a moment where things got a little scrambled, but I thought Lateef was fine. I didn't think he didn't seem rattled. He seemed appropriately upset after the game, like it was his fault, and it wasn't. I mean, the reason they lost the game wasn't because of TJ at all. Like I think USC is a good football team, and they played their best football late in the game, and they beat Nebraska a couple of times on 2 long passes, and they called the right quarterback runs at the right time. You know, USC's been on the wrong side of those games for 2 years, and they were on the right side this time. It's unfortunate that it happened against Nebraska, but USC's been close to winning games like that, and they finally won one. And I'm sure USC's looking around and going, we're going to go 10-2. And they're probably not, but they probably think they're going to. And if they did, they'd make the playoff.
Sam, what did you think about prior to the Dylan injury? What did you think about the game plan offensively and how it was being executed?
Really good. Yep. I thought they did a great job of the first drive of the game was just masterful. There's no other way to put it. It was absolutely what was needed. Took 7 minutes off the clock, took a 7-0 lead. Ball got out of Dylan's hands fast. He was able to hit some short completions, and then he hit a great touchdown throw at Key. I thought that the 2 punts in the first half, or punting them and pinning them down there, was terrific ideas. Didn't try to force it on 3rd and long. Forced USC to go the distance, long fields. They get 2 field goals, but you know what? It's still 7-6, and then 14-6 at the halftime with a great with a great drive late in the first half, making plays. Great run plays. I thought it was a terrific plan. And defensively, I thought it was a little tricky, but it was clever. They got it done. They gave up a lot of rush yards, but they didn't give up. But keeping those safeties back, you're not going to give up a 70-yard run. You're going to give up 15, 17, 13. But so long as those safeties are back there, you're not giving up the 80-yard run. Well, when a team's got to drive 85 yards and you're ahead 7-0, you'll do it. And so I actually thought it was pretty clever. Now, late in the second half, Maiava hits those 2 runs, and again, that was a good adjustment on Lincoln Riley's part. You have to give him some credit.
Yes and no. Like, I love the fact that it was timely in the run game, but Nebraska defensively, as individual, like guys that have quarterback and guys that have inside run have to be better too. So yes and no on his willingness to keep it, but you got to do your job too. And you're a free defender twice. You probably ought to be in better position. So I love the cat and mouse, but sometimes you just got to make plays too. If I would have asked you this, Sam,
I think I have more grace for the defense than most people do.
As you should.
As good as I thought they were going to be.
As you should. Like I wouldn't. I always say this, man. People can make you dumber. But let me ask it to you a different way. If I had told you that Nebraska would be within 15 yards of Southern Cal rushing the football, and almost the same yards per carry with 2 more carries, you think Nebraska wins that game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like so much of it lined up.
Me too. That's not the way. Of all the ways I thought SC could win that game, that's not it. So I don't know if it's the quarterback thing. I don't know if it's Pritchett. I still think we're overlooking the fact that Nebraska got pinned deep punting, and Nebraska conversely wasn't able to pin SC deep punting in the second half. Getting the ball at the 27-yard line on the miss hit, I thought was kind of key. The one in front of Nebraska's bench in the second half. That's a little understated. So it's a total team thing. I hate we just look, it's almost like we don't know any better, right? We just look at numbers and we think, oh, they did this, we can't do this. When in action, it's like, did you watch? Did you watch how this unfolded? And do you know this relative to what SC typically does? They're well under their averages. Under their averages.
200 yards under their average, 20 yards under their point average.
Like,
again, Nebraska's defense did a great job. Like, I understand that they made some mistakes late. As far as the punter's concerned, and this is another situation where I'm a little different from a lot of other people. I have not gushed over that guy. And let me tell you why.
It's not about.
I'll just tell you why.
Okay.
He's actually, a lot of people did, though. They thought he was the greatest punter on the planet, and I did not. And here's why. Because he's way younger than almost all of the Australian punters who come over here and play right away. Like Torrey Taylor was 25 when he graduated. So this kid was going to go to Tennessee maybe and like sit for a year and then learn. This is a process for him too. And so like I have a lot of grace for Archie Wilson because this was kind of going to happen. Like it was unlikely that he was going to, a lot of times those guys will come over here at 21 or 22 when they've been in that thing for 2 or 3 years. And so like, you got to be careful with like overhyping stuff or like, and you didn't do that, but like there were a lot of people, there was like a million feature stories. And I'm like, guys, we just have to be cautious about anointing anything here when this guy's way younger than some of the Australian punters who come over. He's going to be great in time. It's just, and then he didn't punt for 3 weeks. And so like he didn't get a chance to punt against Akron and Houston Christian and work out some of those things. I think Nebraska's lucky that the USC returner fair caught 2 of the punts, because if he had chosen to return, I mean, one of them he could have chosen to return and he may still be running. And so, Nebraska got a little bit lucky on a couple of those because I think Wilson's reputation preceded him. But he, again, I built in that he's not perfect. I think it's hard to make 52-yard kicks in Memorial Stadium and going into the north wind. I know there was no wind. I know. But that's not easy to do. Alex Henry did it once upon a time. But how many field goals have been 50-yard field goals have been made going north in the history of the stadium? I don't know. 10? Probably not that many. And so, I knew that was going to be hard. I think Nebraska's defense is playing about as hard as it can. They're not perfect. But this is, in my opinion, this is where the rev share money and the extra money's got to go in the off seasons. They got to go get even more guys up front. That's my opinion. Now, obviously, they need a second running back and 2, and they'll get that. That'll be done. But they've got to continue to build that side of the ball, because that side of the ball is where they need continued work. Obviously, guys are banged up. McGahee's banged up. Maverick Newton hasn't quite worked out the way they'd hoped. Ochoa hasn't quite worked out yet. He's young. So's Noonan. So's McGahee. So, when McCullough gets hurt, they're bringing in a guy that's converted from middle linebacker. And so, like, they've got to continue to grow on the defensive side of the ball in terms of the personnel. But I'm not disappointed by anything that happened for Nebraska Saturday night. I think other than maybe that management moment in the what was it, the third quarter, that they burned 2 timeouts. That was unfortunate. And I'm not sure why the first one was burned. I know why the second one was, but if it were me, I would have just went and kicked the field goal instead of trying to do the window dressing and burn another timeout. But that's me. And I'm not the coach, and he got extended, rightfully so. Matt Rule had a good week last week as a program leader. They didn't win the game, but there's no reason why they can't win the last 3. There really isn't. They can go beat Iowa. Iowa's a good team, but they can beat them. It's Iowa. They're not going to run away from anybody. So, find a way late in the schedule to pull off 3 huge wins and get things going toward the bowl season.
That's our guy, Sam McKEWON, Omaha World Herald. Sam, appreciate the time as always. We'll talk to you next week.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, Sam.
That is Sam McKEWON from the Omaha World Herald. Reminding you real quick, if you've got an auto body repair issue, our friends at Dingman's have you covered. Go to dingmans.com. You can find out about their 4 great Omaha area locations, how they're locally and family owned and operated, and how they've got the cutting edge technology and training to do your repair to the highest level of quality and safety standards possible. Go check them out, dingmans.com. We'll be right back. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
I thought it was good. Oregon was playing really, really well, and we were talking about them all week, just how they're much better than their record, and when they're playing well, they can be really hard to stop. One of the hardest hitting teams in the Big Ten, and great serving team. So we knew there'd be a challenge, and I thought we started a hair slow, but we hung in there and really hit our groove the longer it went. Yeah, I think we do a great job of adjusting quickly, and our players have, we have so many high IQ players that they know what they're doing wrong and they can change. And then I think our serving, we just get better as the games go on, and you've seen that recently. It just might start out slow and then finish super strong from the service line.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. Got a little special guest for you joining us here. He was in Lincoln this weekend along with a bunch of his friends that maybe he'll be bringing back to Lincoln someday soon as well. It's Nebraska 2027 quarterback commit TRAE Taylor joining us now. TRAE, how are we doing this morning?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Oh, good morning, champ, man. So what'd you think, man? You're watching kind of the evolution of this program, and you know the message of who they're trying to recruit, how they're trying to recruit, where they want to go as a program. How did Saturday night, outside of the final result, fit into that?
I've been at almost every single game except for Michigan State when it's a home game, and I truly believe this was the best recruiting weekend we've had. From the recruits I was talking with and being around, which was a lot, I heard nothing but good feedback. And so I feel like outside of the result of the game, I think from a recruiting aspect and the recruits that we had there and how they got to see the stadium packed and the energy of the fans and just everything in general, the game day environment, I think it really helped us with the recruits. And from what I heard, they all loved the day, they loved the game, they loved whether it was the offense or defense, they loved what they got to see.
TRAE, I'm not even going to kid you. As a former player, and I played during a time where they first introduced the jumbotrons, and it looked like Apple Commodore computers, right? Like things you can't even relate to. And then I look at where it has evolved to now and the level of excitement. There are a lot of our old guys in that stadium that said that they haven't felt that kind of electricity. A different Tunnel Walk song, the black, of course, it's different for us old heads, but it was still cool. Like, how do you separate the feel and what it looks like and the juice versus what you actually want to accomplish here? Are they the same thing? Are they still kind of different? Is it part of, how do you guys look at what comes with being at Nebraska before they get to this program back to where they really want it, which Coach Rule always talks about?
I mean, I think it starts with really just keeping, yes, the energy and that feeling. I feel like that almost needs to be, the standard, right?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Because, like, if that's what you, like you said, if that's what you want to get back to, every little thing needs to be done, right? So, but I also think that that energy in that stadium on a normal game day is also,
it's legit.
It's
legit.
like a legit, factor. So it's not like I think that just in general, a game day environment in Memorial Stadium is just, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but
oh, I get it.
Of course, I haven't got to play in it yet, but being in it, it just gets you ready to play in it, and you start to get that excitement. So I feel like you can only go up from here, and with what Coach Rule is doing, and from the offensive standpoint, Coach Rule, Coach Holgerson, Coach Thomas with the quarterbacks, Coach Shorts, Coach Sack, Coach EJ, Coach Raiola, I think that it's all going up, and I feel like if you can't see that, then you're just looking for things to hate on with Nebraska. I mean, and that's how I feel. But yeah, I mean, I think that we're only going up from here.
TRAE, that's how I feel too. I'm glad you said that because
before you even finished, I looked at my partner and I was like, oh my gosh, he's teeing him up.
I was gonna say
my partner came in kind of mad this morning, man. He doesn't he's for pro upward movement.
Yeah,
upward movement.
I think the progress is clear. I think the way that you just described that, the progress is clear as well. I'm curious, as you're talking to these other recruits, which I think you've really endeared yourself to Nebraska fans by the way you're like riding with the program. And I think that's a really cool and kind of unique thing you've done. Because a lot of times you hear a quarterback commit early, you don't hear from him for 2 years, then he comes on campus, you're like, oh yeah, we got TRAE Taylor. But you have made yourself like you're already on the team and part of the program, which I think Nebraska fans love.
Well, it's crazy. You need votes. They're voting. You need support. They're supporting. You want them to come to you. Like, are you not enamored? Like, it is crazy how you have connected with this base.
I mean, it's beyond crazy, and the literally the worst part about it is all I can say is thank you, right?
Oh man.
So, I feel like the Nebraska fan base and just in general, Lincoln and Nebraska, like I said, I shut down my recruitment. So there's no reason for me not to fully jump in.
The worst thing I can say is thank you. Wow. Not bad, kiddo. Not bad.
TRAE, real quick before we let you go here, and we super appreciate your time. As you talk to some of these other recruits, I'm curious if it comes up how, especially the blackout in particular, stacks up against some of the other experiences that these guys have gone through, right? I mean, you're talking about guys that are visiting and being recruited by every high major program in the country. How did Saturday stack up for them experience-wise?
Most of them, almost all of them, said it was the best environment they'd been in.
Yeah.
Like, and how can it not be?
You're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right, T2. You're gonna be all right.
It was loud and rowdy, and everybody was in black. It was full an hour before the game in the student section for 4 quarters. So,
man,
yeah.
we appreciate it so much. Not just giving us a call this morning and talking to us, but also just what you and the way you've gone all in on the state of Nebraska. I tell people all the time, one of the reasons that I ride with Coach Rule the way I do is because of the way he feels about this place. I can tell you're the same way. You guys seem like you're cut from the same cloth that way. So thank you for that, and thank you for joining us this morning. And I'm sure we'll see you around very soon.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right, champ. Looking forward to it.
That is TRAE Taylor, Nebraska's 2027 quarterback recruit. We appreciate TRAE giving us a few minutes this morning. Just fantastic stuff. And
you say the worst thing I could say is thank you.
I think he said the worst thing about it is all I can say is thank you.
Yeah, right?
Which is awesome.
That is incredible.
That's like way more maturity than I have.
Stop short of just saying wait till I could play. But if you say that,
yeah,
then it's like
paint a target.
Media are creating this buzz. Like,
I don't listen with TRAE Taylor. I don't have to create any buzz. Like,
he's pretty easy going too.
And just go watch one of his games.
He's pretty easy going.
Yeah, but
he's a long drink of water.
Yeah, he is really lengthy.
Yeah,
he's a. Go watch one of his games. I'm not going to hype him up. I'm not going to say it. Just go watch one of his games or ask Tim Verghese how he feels about TRAE Taylor, and you'll get a pretty good answer.
Shana, are we jumping right to?
Yep,
TRAE?
He's ready to go.
We got Michael Severe joining us now, our guy from the Jet Foundation. What's up, Severe? How we doing?
Good, fellas. How are you guys doing?
What is up? How's my voice? Is it okay?
Sounds fine. It's a little gravelly, like you've been maybe rolling some marbles around in there. But other than that, sounds fine.
Hey, how about
you say marbles or Marlboros?
Winston's. About Winston's, man. More Winston's. You know?
How about my guy? Like, did you know he was calming everybody down when he said what he said? Coming back when he's like, everybody just needs to kind of calm down and dial in. Like, could you imagine what was going on with the broadcast team trying to figure out if Dylan was coming back in the game or he wasn't coming back in the game? It was,
you know, I listen. You know, I have the headphones there. Like, it's probably about a 50-second difference at this point listening online. But yeah. I check back in a lot of times after plays where I figure you guys are getting deep into a conversation on something. And I of course want to hear what Jessica has to say. I can watch down there what he's doing, but you know, she's talking about him going back and forth to the tent. So I always on my computer I have the game going, you know, the Nebraska game going, and so I can go back and watch the replays when I want to. And that second replay, I could see where that ankle turned over. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I consider myself kind of a medical professional. At least I stayed at a Holiday Inn last night, and I watched it, and I thought, oh man, that's a nasty sprain. I don't think he's going to play on that because one. The pain I didn't think was going to be good enough, and it just looked really nasty. So I never thought he was going to come back in. And I think once you put TJ in there, and he had that first run where unfortunately at the end he fumbles going out of bounds. But once you put him in there, I think you leave him in there because you need that mobility. And if Dylan can't move, you know, especially when you got backup right tackles and left tackles in there, you're going to be in trouble.
So were you having flashbacks of all my meltdowns over the years from when guys jump on other guys' backs to tackle? Because I did a very good. I know you're laughing. Yeah. It's like the number one. It's like a number 2 trigger for me. Are you proud that I didn't bring it up during the actual broadcast?
Look. That is one of the weirder plays. If you break the whole thing down, it's ultimate max protection, right? First of all, it's max protection. Pritchard gets just beat like a dog off the edge.
By you, yeah.
He dives then and he grabs the left ankle of the defender. So he's trying to get back up. Well, Emmett tries to help. Emmett actually pushes the defender into Raiola, who is then in contact. And then, yeah, he does the old hip drop tackle or whatever you want to call it. And it's horrible. There's no reason to do it. You know, you're doing it either because you've lost control of your faculties or you're trying to hurt somebody. And that's how I think about it. Whenever somebody does that, especially when it's stopped, like the ball's out, he's stopped. And then when you say, I'm going to pull this guy down here, you either have lost your mind in a way or you're trying to hurt him. And so I'm not accusing the guy of doing anything wrong, but there's no place in the game for that tackle. It's not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to accuse a guy of intentionally trying to hurt somebody. I am going to accuse him of doing something intentionally dirty, right? Like, I do think there's a difference between like, hey, I may not be trying to break this guy's leg. I am doing something dirty and I know it, right? Yeah. Like that's I think where my real problem is. And you're right. There was a lot of congestion. There was a lot of bodies around there. It was also 100% unnecessary for that guy to do what he did. Like,
yeah, completely. And Dylan got a little unlucky because sometimes in a situation, as you guys seen it, the foot will slip out, right? You get pulled back.
Or you'll go directly to your knees.
Yeah. His got planted. It got stuck there. Kind of like that what happened last night. Oh my God, to the Washington, Jaden Daniels, where his arm just got pinned. It didn't slide out like it normally slides out, and you dislocate your elbow or whatever. But yeah, when I first time I saw the replay, I thought, oh man, this is bad. I did not think it was a fibular break. It was no way I thought that's what it was. I just thought it was a bad high ankle sprain. But he'll be back next year. Probably a good 3 months of rehab, stem, making sure that he deals with the pain. But he'll be back fine.
Dude, I don't know what stem's gonna do for a break, but
well, it really helps once the break is healed. Once the break is healed, But it's I'm telling you, man, I've been injured a lot. Just like you, Damon. I got a fake knee here, and I just know that those people, those trainers. I go to Macavicka personally, and every time I've had a problem, they've fixed it. And I know the trainers down at Nebraska, they had some people who were like, kind of, once they found out it was a break, they're like, well, that was irresponsible to let him walk around on it and everything. And I'm like, look, man, technically it's a non-weight bearing bone. He's not making it worse by going out there. He might've made it worse, but by walking around, I thought that the people kind of complaining about the training staff and how they handled it, I think that was bad. They treated it. He wanted to go back out, got wrapped up. He couldn't go.
I did like the fact that, because we can hear some of it sometimes when he's close to a mic or when there was real consternation. And I think Dylan was pushing. And I think Coach Rule was like, you're a sitting duck.
Yeah.
I think Dylan was pushing. And it was like, no, you can't get out of the way. So like when he's having the press conference, I don't have to tell you, I'm a little sensitive to that with injuries and the players. So I'm like, sometimes you just have to protect people from themselves. And I was getting ready to be upset that people were going to be accuse Dylan of anything other than not really being hurt. He wanted to play. His coach didn't let him.
You don't have to protect people from themselves. You got to protect football players from themselves. Football players will do stupid things. We all know. I'll never forget Corey Detmer going out playing on a torn ACL and then tearing the other one. They'll go out. They'll do stupid things. They want to play. And I thought Dylan, I'm not. Look, so here's me being who I am a little bit. I also don't think Dylan wants the other guy to go out there and show what he can do. I'm just saying. No offense to anybody, but you don't want that.
Until you know you can't absolutely not play, I agree with you. That's how 99% of players are.
Yeah, so I think that's part of it too.
Like if there's an ounce of you that can play, it's like, just hold this down so I get back. But that's it.
Why do you think I don't take any days off, DB?
Take your days off. You get replaced, man. Wally pipped you. You don't want to get Wally pipped.
I was trying to Wally pip people for a decade. Like I'm trying to I'm not trying to take any days off.
Yeah, keep showing up. And it's your job, but once you're not there, they're gonna have to find somebody else to do the job. But I'm not surprised he tried to go back in because he wanted to win. I'm not surprised he wanted to go back in. National televised game like that, and the atmosphere. That's the one thing I want to make sure I say that while I'm here is that was incredible. The atmosphere was it's the second best atmosphere I've had at and I'm going to say a Nebraska pseudo game, because when Nebraska was at Colorado that first time I was there and Nebraska fans were doing Husker Power and they drowned out the running of the Bison, that's still, my hair was standing up my arm. That's still one of the best moments next to the College World Series when they were doing the same thing. But the beginning of that game and when they chose to take the ball, and I don't remember the last time an offense chose to take the ball against Nebraska that didn't involve wind, but chose to take the ball and Nebraska got the first stop. I'm like, oh, they're going to win this game.
Yeah.
They're going to win this game. And then when they drove down and had that drive where they looked as efficient, and I talked all week. Like we keep saying that they held USC under this amount from their average. They held them 8 points under their road average. This is not the same team home and road. Them and Washington are about the biggest gaps between home and road splits. So I thought once Nebraska got the lead, knowing the way USC plays on the road, knowing the way they struggle across the board, knowing they don't like to return kickoffs and punts. They don't want to. They want to take it wherever they get it. So that takes away another explosive element. Despite the fact that we had Mekhi Lemon on our preseason watch list. They don't want to return kicks. So I thought all of those reasons, once Nebraska got the early lead and got 2 stops in a row, do you know that USC had only 9 3-and-outs the whole season?
I do.
Until those backups. I mean, you were in a position, and that's why I don't really love the third down and long quarterback, the RPO wherever he runs. I don't like that. I mean, I think you get a first down there, I think the game might be over. I think the game might.
You're talking about the second offensive
The
possession?
second offense. The first.
That's the one that's still sticking in his craw a little bit.
That's so you had back-to-back possessions where you end up with third and long. One, you ran Dylan for 5 or 6, and the second one was Emmett.
EJ's 14-yard run. You take the shot play, then it's Lindemeyer has that one on his hip that he has to corral off the arc. Is that the one you're talking about where you wanted EJ to touch it?
I wanted something to be done that they're trying to get the first down other than having a quarterback who always seems like he's going down as he runs. You ever notice his forward lean is like, I'm getting to the ground, which is good because you want him to be safe, but he's always kind of going down. He's not going to run for that. And so I would have liked to see him trying to get that. And then the next drive, it's again third and long, and that's the one where they give it to Emmett. And Emmett might break it. I never know. But sometimes when you run it there, then you're saying maybe we're going to go for it on fourth down. I thought they needed to steal 1 or 2 possessions during the game, and I thought it would happen by a fake punt where he would roll out and run, or I thought they were going to run some sort of thing in special teams to kind of get a trick thing. They never got that. They never stole that possession. And so I think that's nothing.
There's a handful, and because I want to get to the game management thing here.
Yeah, sure.
For sure. But so a couple times we had a chance to pin SC deep while the crowd was still buzzing, because I think one of the things that's getting lost in this complimentary thing is, are we getting our what's going on with Holgerson or the defense this, and we love Coach Eck, and it's a 3-pronged deal. But when it's a pick-me-up sport, so I'll tell you what a guy like Coach Eckler is going to say is, we got to stop. We got it back to our offense. We punted. We should pin them deep. Our defense got us another stop. But they weren't really able to flip the field with anything deep, right? You had the punt that went out at the 27, and then another one like
2 inside the 20.
Yeah,
right?
so
2 inside the 20, but none inside the 10.
You had some chances there. When you look at the complementary portions of the game, all 3 phases, when you do have a backup quarterback in, which of them which would you pick to be the most effective if you're going to get a backup quarterback a dub? Which one of those 3 phases do you think? You may want to just pick offensive line. Which one? What's the fourth? Go ahead.
Fourth phase.
What is it?
Fourth phase is coaching.
Okay.
The fourth phase is making the backup quarterbacks win because of 2 things. 1, scheme. 2, everybody else picks up around them, right? Everybody gets a little bit better. So when those are happening and the scheme is part of it, you have to, as a coaching staff, 1, maintain your composure on the sideline. 2, call the plays that fit best for the guy that you have out there. And then 3, you got to make sure that everybody else picks up and makes plays. I did not think that the coaching staff handled it as well as they could have once he came in the game. Look, they called some good plays. That middle screen should have been a touchdown when he fumbled the snap. It should have been a touchdown. You fake the look over to Emmett. It draws the safety over there. You got 3 linemen in front of Barney. He probably runs in for a touchdown. He's nervous. He drops the ball. That's fine. But I thought
he only had the 2 incompletions and ran for 5 per. Like what do you?
Yeah. Well, two things I thought. Right.
Okay.
So they ran that screen play, the one that lost I think 5 or 7 yards. They ran that play. I don't think with a guy who hasn't had enough first-time rips, you run that play. That's a pick 6. That is when you're drawing up and you're calling it off the plane, you're going, what's the bad thing that can happen on this play? Because that's how I think it. Maybe that's negative, but that's a pick 6. That throw. I don't like throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage. I also don't like throwing the ball linear to tight ends. I hate that. Why has that been happening for the last 6 or 7 years? Stop doing that. They threw 1 to Lindemeyer and 1 to Harburg. Stop doing that. Get the ball at least over the line of scrimmage, or if it's third down, at least to the line to gain. Too many times they don't call plays to do those things. I was critical of all those things. I thought that TJ did the best he could do. I thought the throw that he made to Hunter down that sideline was a great throw and a great defensive play. But I thought that they didn't do a great job of calling the game for him.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Of the 3 calls that we couldn't believe, one of them was SC's flea flicker, which was
what a throw. Dime.
The play to Marshall that 16 caught, or the play that Hunter didn't make. you get one of those back, or one that you think you should made that it was like, how do you look at those 3 plays? Because in games like this, you and I and Ravi will have these conversations and we'll say, oh, Lateef wasn't prepared, or oh, the play calling, or oh, game management. But sometimes you just got to make plays. All 3 of those were plays where you're like, if they would have gone the other way.
Yeah, it's the Hunter play. The Hunter play. If Hunter comes down with that ball and that 50-50 ball, and that's why he's here. That's why he and Dane Key are both here to catch 50-50 balls, because they couldn't do it last year. He makes that catch. I think Nebraska wins the game. And that's it. I think they win. It's a second down play. He makes that catch. It's at the 21?
Yeah, roughly.
Right? I mean,
at the 25, I know.
I think they win the game right there. The play I talked about before is that middle screen. I mean, I bet you that's something they've been thinking about running on against a zero blitz probably for a couple of weeks, and they got it, and it didn't happen. That had to be crushing for the 3 seconds that Holgorsen thinks about the play that just happened before he's moved on. I think that must have been crushing.
See, I don't think Maeva had any business throwing the fade. He went to the 2x2. He checked it when he threw it over. Oh, when he threw it on Marshall. That's not a ball I would recommend.
But DB, that's why I think he's going to be really good. You have to throw it. See, that's the great thing about him. When you go back and I watched almost every snap that he has had this season, especially the road games. And he gives those guys opportunities that a lot of times Dylan will not. And I know maybe it gets picked, right? Maybe it does. Maybe it gets knocked away. Maybe it's interference, or maybe your wide receiver makes a play. The throw he made against Illinois to Makai Lemon in the end zone, you shouldn't throw that ball. I don't care, but you got
that ball.
Listen, man. Honestly, you don't think he thinks that his wide receiver is going to beat that safety, or he's going to make the play over that safety? He's got confidence. He goes, my guy is not like some walk-on guy. I got wide receivers who are wanting to go play in the league. I'm gonna throw the ball to them, and I'm gonna let them go make the play. There was a yard and a half, right, that he had to throw that ball.
At what point was
he made
open?
The throw? Well,
he was
open
me, bro.
For
about half a second.
You're always open. If you're between the ball and the defender, you're open. That's the way I've always felt. You got to make those throws, man. Those are the reason why. Dylan
the ball
struggles so much is because he does not do that
Marshall
enough.
Has got to be kicking it.
Well, that ball was underthrown.
It was an underthrown ball. Throw.
It's an underthrown ball, right? But sometimes the underthrow balls, you get some of the biggest plays.
It's tough.
So Dylan had an underthrow to Hunter. One of I don't know what's going on with his
Nebraska sidelines.
With it, just a little past it, yeah. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he's reverting back to being a baseball player, but he's kicking his back leg up when he throws the ball down the field. Like, I don't know why he does that. And so you're now taking away your balance, and he can't get the ball to drop. Well, on that one, he threw it so short that Hunter couldn't even come back and get it. So those are plays that when he comes back next year, those are the plays you have to make. So now you're talking 3 weeks in a row where now he is, I believe, 3 of 16 on throws over 15 or more yards. That's inexcusable. That can't happen. He's got to make those throws. And so I hope going forward that when they talk to TJ, they're like, hey, TJ, sometimes because Dane Key can play and Hunter can play and Quinn Clark can play because Lyndon Meyer's huge, sometimes you got to throw the ball in that tight window. Throw it, let them make the play. I stay with that, man. We all watch dozens of games every weekend, and the quarterbacks that succeed are the quarterbacks that are willing to take that chance.
I didn't mind the explanation after the game because it's real time and it's raw with his feelings on what he wanted the outcome to be with the field goal attempt. If the field goal doesn't hit the uprights, right? Are you still worried about the optics or the mechanics?
Well, I was going to use the word operation. So I'm not as concerned about whether or not you should have kicked the field goal or gone for it or punted or whatever. Mine is the operation of the way they handle it. So first of all,
is this in addition
let me first leave that out of there because I think he was a lot of times he is so pumped up after speaking to his team that sometimes he says stuff that I don't think necessarily that he has to come back and correct on Monday. We've seen him do that before. So let me just say this. First of all, that third down play, that's a play where if TJ has a bunch of reps and he's been playing a lot, he makes that screen throw to Emmett easily, and Emmett probably gets 15 yards on that play. But he makes a bad throw. Emmett's got to jump up. It brings Corcoran over. He can't make the block. It's a 1-yard gain. They got to go to 4th down. So as soon as that happened, they cut over to the sideline and Coach Rule. And you see him standing up there. He's talking to somebody or whatever. They get started. They send the guys out. Well, then they send 48 out late. So now you're already a little late. You've lined up. You line up in that Maryland eye or whatever, and you get under center at 10 seconds. At 10 seconds. And you call the timeout at 5. If you're honestly saying that you wanted to get them to jump, you don't call that timeout at 5 seconds. You have a couple more faux snaps calls or whatever.
No, actually, that's not true.
It's 5 seconds.
Actually, that's
it's fine. It goes from 6 to 5 round a timeout. Why wouldn't you take it down to a second and then call a timeout?
I respect the thought.
Okay.
Let me give you the counter.
Okay.
This happened to us in a game at Memorial Stadium when it mattered. Okay, so when you want to do that and you want to see if they are going to call timeout, there's this part of you that wants to make sure, now does everybody know we're not snapping this thing?
You know the best way to do that, DB? Is
you know what I mean?
The best way to do that is to come out in a play that you normally run.
Hear my heart, babe. Hear my heart.
Okay.
I'm not telling you it was well executed.
No, it wasn't.
What I'm telling you is why I think I'm giving you a reason for why I think it happened. It's an explanation. It's not an excuse. I don't think he thought they had a good enough command of whether they were really snapping it or not. And the only reason I bring this up to you to think about, because 6-7 years ago, you and I had this conversation, and we had it multiple years in a row on how trusting your quarterback changes the optics of whether you're a good game manager or not, right? Andy Reid gets the benefit of the doubt now after being heavily criticized for a long time with Mahomes, right? Zach Taylor with Burrow is famous. So I only say that in just the quarterback situation in terms of that situational practice, does that creep into your thought process at all?
Only because I've seen him, I'm talking about Matt Rule, do the same thing at multiple places where he's coached with multiple quarterbacks.
That's fair.
I've watched him struggle. And listen, and I said this yesterday, and everybody that's a head coach has got a weakness or a blind spot. Everybody does. Nick Saban, for years, they couldn't kick field goals. Explain to me how one of the best teams in the country winning multiple championships can't kick field goals. They just couldn't.
You know what he said his Achilles, he was too emotional.
Well, back when he was at LSU, that was actually a thing that was put in Sports Illustrated because he admitted to that back then of how he would jump too much on his coaches and react too much on the sideline. But what I'm saying is that when you look at what Matt Rule's weakness is, and I think you can go back to the Minnesota game of his first game he coached here at Nebraska. You can go back to when he was at Carolina. The weakness is, it seems like at times in those situations, and I don't ever want to use the word panic, but he doesn't handle them well. I don't think he does. And the head coach has to be in the most control. The head coach has to have that aura of being in control, and he's got to make great decisions on what he really only does 3 things, right? When you had to take over to be head coach, when your head coach was in the hospital, you got to worry about, do I go, no go on 4th down? When do I call timeouts? And if I need to pull somebody out of the game because they're not playing very well, you know, and you get that from your assistant coaches. So those 2 things, those 2 timeouts and 4th downs, I don't think that's his wheelhouse. And I've said it over and over. Kurt Ferentz brought somebody in from the outside to help him with it. Coach Ferentz is the best coach in the Big Ten in 3.5 point or less games. Look at his numbers. There's a reason why he got better in close games, is because he got somebody to help him. I think Matt Rule needs somebody to help him on those decisions. If he doesn't already have it.
That's Michael Zvier, Executive Director of the Jet Foundation. Michael, we appreciate it as always. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right, take it easy, man.
Coming up next, we've got Ryan Fowler. He is an NFL analyst and a podcast host. We haven't talked any NFL yet this weekend. There's a lot of stuff we haven't got to yet. I don't know if you know this. Auburn fired their head football coach.
Yeah.
Got another job open.
10-3. And the way you did that in the second half,
Wow. I mean, listen, we'll be right back talking a little NFL with our guy, Ryan Fowler. It's Hurrdat Sports Live.
Yeah, we thought we'd make the field goal. And that was the kick line. The kick line on that side was like, hey, I went up to the special teams coaches, and they said, no, he'll make it. It seemed like a good time to take points. He's made the 53-yarder against Kansas City, kind of a similar situation. And, at that time, I just thought, hey, if we feel good about it, let's take the points. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. So, we had planned to get up there and try to utilize cadence to try to get them to jump off sides. Obviously it didn't work. We saw him at the end. Game came down to the end. We tried to do zone read play there at the end, and on the 4th and 1, and unfortunately Emmett got tripped up. So just felt like with kind of the way things were going, take the points, and unfortunately we missed the kick.
Aspirations can drive us. Sometimes a simple gesture is what fuels the pursuit of a dream. When it's time to make your dream a reality, we are here to help. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
68 yards away. It's up there. It's out there. And it's good. It's good from 68. Nope, it is Hunt. And he gets in with ease. Touchdown, Kansas City. Flacco trying to give his guys a shot. Fires down the field. And it is picked. Nishan Wright. Stafford looking for Adams in the end zone. He's got it. Touchdown. His second today.
Welcome back. Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. We are joined now by Ryan Fowler. He is an analyst of the NFL and a podcast host for Commanding the Huddle. Ryan, how are we doing this morning?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Oh, yeah, one of the best in the business. Do we dabble in college football, or do you want because we could go either way, because I got some hot takes, or you want to just focus on the NFL?
Either way for you guys. I know it was a heck of a Sunday steak, but whatever's best for you guys.
Yeah, I want to start. This is kind of innocuous because my partner and I aren't fans, but the game is fascinating because it's the Bears and it's the Bengals, and I get it, the level of excitement, but there's two things that I'm curious in. What do you think, because he's a Nebraska guy, what do you think the narrative is around Zach Taylor anytime he hasn't had Joe Burrow? And the other thing is, how much do you think Caleb Williams has or has not endeared himself to Ben Johnson?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's tough. It's a little bit of a double-edged sword there with Zach Taylor, of course, with no Joe Burrow, and I think for even myself, when I look at superstars around the NFL, specific at the quarterback position, to where they can mask a lot of those inefficiencies, whether that's on either side of the ball or it's from a coaching perspective, right, and that shoulder to lean on that some of these guys need. But when I look at Cincinnati yesterday, I can't look at this game and say, hey, it was Zach Taylor. He's not out there executing for this defense, to where at times they made a few plays yesterday. But overall, the entirety of this season, and even working in the last few seasons since Taylor has been there, this defense has been inept at a lot of levels. And it just comes down to 4 or 5 guys making one tackle at one point. You know, and you saw Chase Brown's comments, and you saw Jamar Chase's comments, and of course those guys are frustrated, and rightly so. And looking at yesterday, that game solely was just based on one defense trying to get one stop on one guy, and they flat out couldn't, and it is pretty embarrassing. But I will say this on the other side of things for Caleb Williams. I think he's taken some steps this year, guys, as far as working in rhythm, and what Ben Johnson really preached with Jared Goff in Detroit was working in rhythm and just utilizing the guys around him. But what Caleb has that Jared Goff doesn't is that Superman-ish hero type of ability to create outside of structure and the elite arm talent when you have to break outside the tackle box to hit those guys downfield. So I just think a little bit of on both sides. It was a heck of a ball game. I hope you guys had the over in that football game. It was a Big 12 type of shootout yesterday, which really made for good cinema. Absolutely.
I had Caleb Williams on my bench. I know that, so that wasn't going my way.
Did you really?
I certainly did.
Who'd you start?
Who did I have? I think Mahomes is my starter. So it's not like,
hard.
You know, I mean,
well, that's what I was hoping you'd get to next.
So let's get to Mahomes, the Chiefs, and that Bills games. The Bills continue to dominate the Chiefs in the regular season, but it's almost gotten to the point where we just don't care until they do it in the playoffs. Like, am I overgeneralizing there, or is it just kind of like, well, we'll see what happens in January?
No, I'm right there with you. You know, and I
Wow.
think for Patrick Mahomes' perspective, yeah, guys. I mean, look, your Chiefs are 5-4, and that's fine. You know, a lot of people are already ready to raise the pitchforks and sound all the bells and whistles as far as, hey, this Chiefs season is going downhill until somebody takes out the champ. For me, in my perspective, everyone's asking me, hey, who's your AFC champion right now, this and this. It's 15 in Kansas City until someone proves me different. Now, I know yesterday was not perfect for Kansas City, and they have to improve. Specifically, the vertical passing attack was not there yesterday. They need more than Chris Jones and George Karlaftis on the edge. They need more than Kareem Hunt in the backfield. Those are things that may be addressed here as the trade deadline approaches, fellas. But overall, I think yesterday it's just, hey, for Andy Reid, look, yeah, you lost in the regular season. You did outscore them in the second half. You outscored them in the fourth quarter overall. You lose by 7, that's fine. Let them have their Super Bowl in the regular season. But until Josh Allen defeats Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, for myself, I'm not picking the Bills over the Kansas City Chiefs where it matters most.
That's interesting. So I like the fact, and I'm trusting just because you're so good at this, but this isn't even really revisionist mini history either. You weren't really buying into the Chiefs are back. They're kind of healthy. They have their weapons back, because you kind of pointed out that they need more. That's the first time I've heard that this year.
Yeah, I think I'll clarify myself. I don't think they need more as far as talent. I just think the execution specifically yesterday, where obviously
gotcha.
Patrick completes 15 of his 34 passes, is obviously something you're not used to seeing. But I think the players and the skill sets that they have to fit what they want to do inside their playbook was not executed to a high level yesterday. And I think there's so many times in history and even moving forward, if they don't adjust anything, where it's just so much on Patrick Mahomes' plate to where it's nice sometimes to be able to turn around and hand it off to a ball carrier 20 to 25 times like we've seen with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley over the last 2 years, to where you could just take that load off of your quarterback's shoulder. So I just think the execution level for Kansas City overall yesterday just was not good enough.
All right, let me ask you something, Ryan, because and I'll get to mainstream trending. The Bills and Chiefs was close, but I'm going back to innocuous and random. Is Jacksonville good?
Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know how to read this team, but I will say this, guys. I love what Liam Cohen and James Gladstone are doing down in Jacksonville. I really do. Now, it's been a few years, right? We've seen Jacksonville as a team that's one of the elites of the AFC. I feel like they're consistently either on the tracks towards relevancy or they're off. And Trevor had a decent day yesterday, and they're having guys step up on the outside. But at the end of the day, that was the Las Vegas Raiders, a team that has been one of the worst teams in football. And it took a failed 2-point conversion in overtime to win that football game. So I think as of right now, their record is, of course, says they are a decent football team. But right now, I'm more so erring on the side of caution as far as who the Jaguars are, because they do have a lot of roster holes, specifically on the defensive side of the ball for me.
I want to go to a team that maybe bucked a little bit of a trend this weekend in a couple different directions. So my partner here is a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan, so I won't force him to ask this question. But how did they hold the Colts offense down with their defense, considering the Colts were on a historic pace offensively and the Steelers defense, to put it kindly, was trash?
Yeah, their front seven it's always been fun to watch. I mean, you look back to the days of Joey Porter and Troy Polamalu flying downhill, and even Cam Hayward, what he's been playing since 1974. When you look at
it's a great year, by the way.
It was. But you look at these guys fly around, guys, and I'm looking at players like Jack Sawyer. I'm looking at guys like Alex Highsmith, and I'm looking at guys like Peyton Wilson, who was absolutely everywhere. He was one of my favorite players coming out of NC State.
Mine too.
A few years ago, at the linebacker position. And that is where their ability to get home with 4, win the A and B gaps. The Colts front 5 is not anybody that's soft by any means. And their ability to just pound Jonathan Taylor, who for me was an MVP candidate heading into week 9. Their ability to just be a balanced football team was really what made them special. But the Steelers forced them really to chase the ball game a little bit and forced Daniel Jones to beat them when their looks on the outside were not there. And their corners, specifically Joey Porter Jr., I thought was absolutely sensational for the most part of that football game. So it's a credit to the young players in the Steelers defense. And I haven't even mentioned a guy like TJ Watt, where they were just everywhere all the time, playing with their hair on fire in the front seven, mixing up looks, winning isolated matchups, and just flat out muddying the looks for Daniel Jones under center. And when he knew that people were around his feet, plays were going to be made from the defense, and he just didn't have any time to make any throws.
When we're talking about kind of the evolution of where this game's going, and by the way, he asked the question, I'm a Pittsburgh honk, no question about it, but I also said the Indianapolis Colts had the best offseason moves of anybody in football. So while I didn't see 7-2, I did say they'd be the best story in football. I want to ask you about another team. They kind of have some warts. They get the ultimate, but they're elite defensively. They look terrible doing it sometimes, but they always win. They got a Super Bowl winning coach. Are the Denver Broncos good?
I think they are. I know there's been concerns with Bo Nix as far as what he's been in year 2. The run game, has been up and down. They drafted R.J. Harvey to be a headlining piece. But J.K. Dobbins has really been their featured guy, and I'm happy for him as far as a guy that's gotten another chance after battling injury in his career, specifically in Baltimore. On the outside, they have guys. They've made additions there, specifically looking at Troy Franklin and Pat Bryant, a guy that I loved in the draft class last year from Illinois. But it's the defense, even without Pat Surtain, I think that is at all 3 levels, they're having guys that develop. And when I look at a guy specifically in Nick Bonito, where even when he came out of Oklahoma, this is a guy that was a hybrid type of player, but what exactly was he going to be, at the NFL level? And he's someone that can win with speed. He can win with power. He can play in the fringe areas. He's really this souped up type of version at the position, even though everybody has their archetypes and molds at the position, whether you want a James Pierce Jr. in Atlanta at 6'4", 245, or the Montez Sweats of the world at 6'6", 270, or the Chase Youngs. So I think overall this Denver group at 7-2, I don't know if they're a 7-2 good football team, but bottom line, guys, you should never apologize, right, in winning games in this league.
Especially in the
NFL.
NFL.
I think the Denver Broncos are a team that finds ways to win football games.
What's happening in the NFC West? Like, what do we do with that entire division?
I think the AFC West in general is always going to be a division with talent, right? I mean, a couple of years ago when, the Raiders had, Derek Carr and the Broncos had Russell Wilson, and it was a division where it was the quarterbacks of quarterbacks. I don't think it's the AFC West that everyone expected as far as the ups and downs that we've seen in this division, but it's still a division that's extremely competitive, and it always will be because of the headliners that they have And I'm excited to see if there's any division football. I'm excited to see the next 3-4 weeks how it plays out once divisional ball games really get going, guys, almost like in-conference play with college football. This is when it's going to get fun, and when you can see the Justin Herberts, the Patrick Mahomes, what is Bo Nix going to be when it really matters? That's going to be fun here over these next few weeks.
All right. Okay. No, it's easy. I'll just ask it this way. Who's most like their record says they are?
I'll say this.
I'll give you two choices.
Yeah.
The Seattle Seahawks or the Detroit Lions?
For me, it's Seattle. Guys. I've been impressed, extremely impressed. Just away, not even just last night and what happened in Washington and what they did to the Commanders. But when looking at this roster on either side of the football, they are a balanced football team that can beat you in a multitude of ways. Even the little things, guys. Watching them last night, watch that offensive line break the huddle. They run to the line of scrimmage, sprint, and then steal your lunch money for 60 minutes. Gray Zabel, Jalen Sundell, Charles Cross, they get after you. And then you can have Sam Darnold in off-play action. He's winning to the backside of the formation a lot, which you don't see a lot from right-handed quarterbacks because their front shoulders usually closed to that side of the field. They're doing everything well on top of having a young defensive-minded head coach in Mike McDonald that has a lot of pieces at all three levels. They get Devin Weatherspoon back. They're winning the interior with Byron Murphy and Leonard Williams. All of these are positives for a 6-2 roster that you just mentioned, the AFC West. How about the NFC West outside of the Arizona Cardinals, who have now lost 5 straight? So Seattle has been very impressive to me so far.
So speaking of the NFC West, I'm a 49ers fan. Let me ask you this. Who is closer to their record? The San Francisco 49ers and their +4 point differential at 6-3, or
I think they're up to 6 now. +6.
Basically even,
Splitting
right?
hairs.
Or the Houston Texans with their 3-5 record, but a +47 point differential.
Yeah, look, when you look at the San Francisco 49ers, I mean, guys, I feel like every single year we talk about, is Kyle Shanahan one of the best coaches in football, or is he a guy that's going to be fired, or what's going to happen here, the injuries, all the stuff they've been through over the last 2 years. But at the end of the day, when you look at that ball game against the Giants at MetLife, just give it to Christian McCaffrey and just let your horses run. That's exactly what they did yesterday. So I think 6-3, for me, I still want to see them improve. It's a shame that they lost Fred Warner. He's one of my favorite players in all of football. Whatever he does at the second level is just outstanding. But I think overall at 6-3, I know the point differential isn't great. But again, they're finding ways to win football games. They're differentiating their skill sets and their playbooks as far as what they're supposed to do with Mac Jones under center. And they're diversifying really what they're doing on the outside, asking guys like Jawan Jennings and Kendrick Bourne and the cast-off that is Sky Moore to be on the outside as well.
So let me ask you something. In the context is if you were starting a franchise tomorrow, are you taking – and I'm going to give you 4 quarterbacks to kind of process through. Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, Drake May, or dare I say or dare I say the phenom that may not be a phenom that's in Washington known as Jaden Daniels. All for a little different reason, but you may see where I'm trying to land the plane here.
Absolutely. And I'll say this, for those listening out there that know my background in Washington, they'll maybe say I'm a homer for this.
If the season started tomorrow, Hurts, Prescott, Daniels, May.
Well, I'll say this. If it started tomorrow, Jaden Daniels doesn't have an elbow. So I wouldn't be able to go with Jaden Daniels, unfortunately.
If they're healthy.
Yeah, I think with those guys right there, it's tough right now between May, Prescott, and Daniels, but I'll go Jaden Daniels for me. And the reason why I say that, guys, is if Washington does not have Jaden Daniels, even looking at yesterday, this is a roster that he's masked all their inefficiencies on either side of the ball and the roster hole that they've had. They've tried to accelerate this rebuild, this retool in Washington after last year where a lot went well. He had to do everything last night, and it's unfortunate what happened. He shouldn't have been in the game, down 30 points in that football game. But looking back to last fall, where a lot of the time when Terry McLaurin was doubled, it's guys like De'Ami Brown, Alameda Zacchaeus, and at the time, 34-year-old Zach Ertz with a very average front five. The superstar ability in football for a lot of these guys is the ability to elevate everybody around you, no matter what you have. If you give Jaden Daniels the surroundings that Prescott has in Dallas, you give him the surroundings that Jalen Hurts has in Philadelphia, it's pretty ridiculous as far as the fundamental talent that kid has under center, the ability to win inside the pocket and with his legs, no matter what's around him. So for me, it's not an easy pick because of what we've seen this year, unfortunately, but who he is fundamentally as a player and what he can do with the guys around him, I'm taking Jaden Daniels.
Let me ask you about the Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts for two different reasons. Hurts is victimized by playing with good players, even though sometimes we ask quarterbacks, well, wait till they get good players. Dak Prescott may be Jerry Jones' best pick since 2010 that wasn't in the first round. Why do you think we have such a hard time giving the devil his due with those two quarterbacks in the same division?
Yeah, I think, I could start with Dak Prescott. I think this year there's no reason why, and I think he'll have a big game
tonight. He's a fourth rounder.
And I don't think there's any reason why, even for this year, guys, that we should not be talking about Dak Prescott in the MVP conversation. I think he's been absolutely sensational in what he's been able to do this year. And as you mentioned, that's a later round pick, and you have to give credit when credit is due. But I think when you are the quarterback of the one team really in all of the major four sports that has consistently a spotlight on it, it's really the Cowboys, Yankees, and the Lakers. You are consistently under fire, good, bad, or indifferent. But when you can't win the big games late in the season or take them to an NFC championship game like he's been there for a long time, nearly a decade now, it has not happened. So people are probably still a bit cautious when looking at Dak Prescott as far as evaluating him, not only with the guys in his division, but overall the top quarterbacks in the NFL. So for that perspective, and then looking at Jalen Hurts, I like Jalen Hurts as a quarterback, but there's a difference between winning games because of players and there's winning games with players. The Eagles don't win games because of Jalen Hurts, in my opinion. They win games with Jalen Hurts. They have already one of the front fives that's been the best in football for the last 5 to 7 years. They have arguably been one of the best talents at running back to enter football in the last 10 to 15 years of football. They have an excellent duo in A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, one of the top tight ends in football as well, backed by a defense that can really get after people and allow you to, hey, we got to win a game 17-10, and Jalen Hurts goes for 95 yards in a football game, we can win those types of games. But then again, he makes throws in certain moments where you look at it and say, hey, look, he's doing enough. But that really comes back to you win games with Jalen Hurts. There's nothing about his skill set that I can't look at a lot of guys around football and say that he does so much better than other players as to why he should be a top 10 quarterback bottom line in football for me.
As the Eagles continue to do what Eagles front office does, they just fleeced Jalen Phillips from the Dolphins this morning. If you're a Miami fan, obviously you're going to have a new head coach. What kind of job is that for you, given the history the last 15, 20 years in the league? A lot of other teams get bad raps. Miami seems to go unscathed. Should we be looking at what kind of job that is differently?
I know there's a lot with ownership, and for some organizations, fellas, nothing will change until ownership changes. I know a lot was said with Washington with Dan Snyder, and then now with of course, Dallas with Jerry Jones, or even, the McCaskies in Chicago.
You go to Cincinnati.
Cincinnati as well. And there's a lot of questions that we could be asked, obviously, as far as the plan for the immediate and long term in Miami. You just mentioned that there's going to be a different head coach in Miami, and there absolutely will. I think Mike McDaniel is going to be a hell of a coordinator somewhere next year. That's okay. That's fine. But there's a lot of pieces here that you're looking at a potential 2, 3, 4 year potential type of rebuild in Miami. You're starting from the bottom up. And I just think over the last 2 years, you've tried to mask Tua Tagovailoa's lack of anything under center. I know the injuries are unfortunate, but you're asking players on the outside to just, hey, run a 5-yard slant and take it for 90 yards. Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Devon Achane, Raheem Mostert when he was there, those types of things. On defense, you've tried to add the Jalen Phillips and the Bradley Chubbs and the Chop Robinsons of the world. And, there's a lot there. We can look at certain players. But overall, this is a foundational adjustment that this organization has to make as far as their process, what they're doing. And it's going to kind of remind me of a team in that same state in the Jacksonville Jaguars, really rebuilding this thing from a GM perspective, from a head coach perspective, getting guys in the building that fit what you want to do in all three phases of the game.
We'll get you out of here on this one. Who's the worst team in the league with a winning record, and why is it the Carolina Panthers?
That's not true.
With a winning record?
It's funny. It's funny that you say that. It's funny that you say that. Hey, but I will say this. I will say this about Carolina because I'm right there with you. Good for them. Good for them.
Absolutely.
So if the Bears and Panthers played tomorrow, you guys are taking the Bears?
Absolutely. 100%.
I would take the Bears.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would take the Bears.
Not a chance.
Yeah. But
wow.
I'll say this, guys. Look, with Carolina, give Dave Canales some credit. For them, they're having young guys fly around. They have some guys that, like Christian Roseboom, coming over from the Rams. These are guys that Rico Dowdle, right, was a cast-off in Dallas. At the end of the day, again, I said it earlier, I said again, you don't apologize for winning games in this league. They have the same amount of wins as the team they beat yesterday in the Green Bay Packers, a team that everybody was saying, hey, this is a top 4 or 5 team in the entire conference. So good for Bryce Young. He's taken some steps. I know he was not good yesterday overall. They have some young players that you like, and T-Mac on the outside, and Sator McMillan. I still like Xavier Legette. I think he's a player that's going to find a home maybe somewhere else in the near future. But overall, this is a team that has some pieces. They're playing some decent football and really has one of the best overall defenders, regardless of position, at all 3 levels. And Derek Brown, that does not get talked about. He is an absolute monster and ball player within the middle for them. And give them some credit a little bit. I know they're not great. 16-13 is ugly. But overall, 5-4 at the end of the day, good for them.
Wow, Jayville greater than Carolina? We're just all this By the way, that's where I signed as a free agent in '97, Ryan. So I lack objectivity. It's fine. It's totally fine. It's totally fine.
It's one of our producers' favorite teams too. So I'm just maybe taking shots. Ryan, we appreciate the time. Great stuff. We'll talk again soon. All right.
Thanks, Ryan.
Absolutely. Thanks as always, fellas.
That's a great get, Shane. He's a good one.
That's Ryan Fowler. He hosts the podcast Commanding the Huddle. You can also find him on Twitter. He's a contributor to many different outlets there. So good stuff from Ryan.
Wow, just all out on Carolina.
I was trying to take a shot at Austin. I didn't mean for you to get a little shrapnel there.
No, it's fine.
As well.
I'm not. It's not. Listen, if I don't take this Nebraska stuff personally, I can move on.
I feel like you can get it. I feel like you can
I can do anything. I can do anything.
I almost thought it was a shot at me. I was like, when did I start liking them?
No, that's.
I am surprised that the Raiders have only 2 wins. I thought.
They're just trash.
I thought they were going to kind of be thorny.
I thought they'd be better than this. Yeah, it's been rough. It's been rough out here.
And the press conferences afterwards have just been trash. I mean, they've got a lot of work to do just to get anywhere.
Bold take.
And the way they're going, they're still not even going to be the worst team. They're not even going to end up with the first pick. It's going to end up being the Jets.
I don't know. There's always the Saints.
Yeah, you got to watch out.
That's what I'm saying, though. They're tanking. They're tanking it all the way down, and they're not even doing the best job that they can do at that.
Saints are doing their best job tanking by starting the Shuckster.
Well, he needs to start. Have you not watched Rattler?
I mean, neither of them are good. Neither of them are good.
They're bad.
I'm just saying, midseason QB change for a bad team is like, hey, red flags here. We're throwing in the towel on this one. See if we can get a high draft pick.
I don't think you understand.
I understand. I've watched some Spencer Rattler.
Their point differential, is almost double the next worst in the league.
They're pretty bad.
They're like minus 105 or 8.
They're like the Rockies of the NFL.
You know what? For laughs and giggles, I'm going to Google.
You Google that real quick.
Oh, the Dolphins are minus 63.
Yeah.
Cincinnati minus 84, so that's not double. Oh,
what are the Jets at?
I forgot about the Titans.
Oh, Titans are real bad at football.
They're the worst. Minus 127.
Titans are real bad at football.
God have mercy. So it's the Saints, the Titans, and the Jets.
Jets. Not great. Not ideal.
I actually think Chandler Shuck is kind of okay.
I don't know.
I'm gonna end up being right about Drake May. Shout out me.
Drake May looks pretty good. You know, Shane was talking about how much work the Raiders have to do. Sometimes it feels like savings is a lot of work, but not with Centrus Federal Credit Union. From accounts to money markets to their certificates and savings account bundle, Centrus has you covered with all the trimmings for a hearty financial feast. Plus, you can get all the fixings with their Centrus Roundup programs as well. Go check it out online, centrusfcu.org. Terms and conditions applied, federally insured by NCUA. We'll be right back. Hurrdat Sports Live.
I thought it was good. You know, Oregon was playing really, really well, and we were talking about them all week, just how they're much better than their record, and when they're playing well, they can be really hard to stop. One of the hardest hitting teams in the Big Ten, and great serving team. So we knew there'd be a challenge, and I thought we started a hair slow, but we hung in there and really hit our groove the longer it went. Yeah, I think we do a great job of adjusting quickly, and our players have, we have so many high IQ players that they know what they're doing wrong and they can change. And then I think our serving, we just get better as the games go on, and you've seen that recently. It just might start out slow and then finish super strong from the service line.
Yeah, I think I said this a few weeks ago, but it's really hard to win when you struggle serving and passing. So we knew coming in that they were a good serving team. I don't think we expected it to come in that hot, but that's on us to fight it high in the middle and run the offense. We didn't pass as well as we wanted to, but we've still found ways to score, so that's a positive that can come out of it.
I think honestly it just starts with practice. I feel like we always rep extending the games, whether it's at 5 sets or 3 sets. I don't really think that it matters, but we're always just pushing each other. And I think that Danny also sets that high standard for ourselves. So I think when it comes to other teams being tired, I think that's kind of when we excel and we really know how to push all the way through, all the way to the end of the match.
I honestly think it was just a switch in my mentality early on in the game. That setter was getting me, and I was struggling to be there on time. So I think that was just a switch in mentality for me, and really focusing on being early and being on time to my block, because we have a good defense back there, but it's not always going to be there to save you sometimes. So that's on me, but I think it got better throughout the game.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centrus Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill in Omaha. You got to mark your calendar. Saturday, November 8th, 2 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. at Edwards Auto Village Point. It's the grand opening and the ultimate duck tailgate. We're talking free food, football on the big screen, games, prizes, even Supernovas tickets, and a huge fireworks finale from J&M Displays to wrap up the night. And it's all for a good cause. $5 gets you a rubber duck, and it benefits Children's Nebraska and Team Jack Foundation. Get all the details at filltheflock.com. It is the grand opening for Edwards Auto Village Point.
No, that's fantastic. And it's not just because I'm an Edwards guy.
What's that?
It's triple fold. Number one, it's the cause.
Cause, yeah.
2, Edwards. But the Ducks.
Yeah, the Jeep Ducks.
No.
Okay. Big Oregon guy?
No.
Mighty Ducks?
Ducks, but different than Jeeps. So Zoe has this thing she does with Caleb.
Okay.
Where she used to say good luck, and we would just be we joked that it was ducks.
Mm-hmm.
So now she says good ducks, and she gives him ducks before every game.
Oh, that's nice.
I don't believe a word
No,
that
that's
you're being
actually,
sentimental.
That's
but
cute. I like that.
Yeah, all in on getting. I need rubber ducks. Where are we getting ducks? Ducks.
Out at Edwards Village Auto Point.
All right, but
Auto Village Point, not Auto Village. Edwards Auto Village Point. There we go.
Oh, good for them.
I was just out there the other day getting my vehicle taken care of.
Oh, they hooked you up?
Yeah, they did. They do a good job.
Yeah,
I love their service center. Their service center is great.
Because do you know who's kind of overseeing that? The mean Gestapo guy.
Who?
Heath.
Oh, is he? Does he do the Village Point one too?
I don't know what he's gonna do out at Village Point, but
gotcha. Yeah. No, they took good care
this
of me.
dude is all about service.
You want to know how dumb I am?
Oh, I know.
You always want to know how dumb I am. So I was having trouble with my key fob thing, right? And it was like dying, and it wasn't like talking to my car the way it was supposed to.
Shane, are you listening?
And
I'm listening.
I went in one day. I didn't have an appointment or anything, but they didn't seem busy. I go in. I go, hey, like, can we like just change out the batteries or whatever real quick? And they were like, there's actually some other like issues we got to test to make sure it is the batteries. So like, can you come and make an appointment? I was like, yeah. He's like, or you can.
You feel like they were trying to bait you?
No, because I've got the warranties covered, so I'm not paying for anything. That's part of the reason I lease is I'm not like I like it to be on there. Like I'll pay it monthly, but I'm not paying anything after that.
Right.
So and they're like, or you can just change the batteries yourself. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. So I make an appointment. I get a loaner vehicle, which you saw last week, and have the thing. They've got it for however long they've got it.
God, they gave you a loaner?
I asked for one, and they're like, yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty cool.
They're like, yeah, absolutely. Like we'll take care of it. And I didn't like drop like, oh, I work at Hurrdat or anything. I was just like, hey, can I get a loaner? Like, I don't know how long it's going to take. And get in. They've got the car. They call me back. They're like, yeah, it was just the batteries. You can come get your car.
So I'm not going to laugh at you. That's not even remotely dumb.
I didn't want to mess with the thing. Like, I didn't want to mess up the fob.
I've struggled with fobs in my car. Shane, when did this start? And you sent me over to the place that was off of Dodge, and then I got the new batteries, and they listened to the show, and they did it for me. So then I became the battery expert. So when Numbnuts over here was having a problem with his fob, that was like a month ago.
Yeah,
last month.
And I was like, hey, guess what? I have extra batteries. He's like, I can't get the back of this thing off of
so
my
that's
fob.
The thing is
it's a mother.
I didn't want to like disassemble the fob.
He was scared too. I told him, I said, I have a knife in my
Well, I had dropped mine like a week or two
I was
earlier.
like, hey, I can get it open for you. Why don't you
with the knife in your car? You just happen to have with the rubber gloves? Not a murderer.
Do you want me to open it for you and put it in there? And he was like, he was a little iffy, but it turned out to be the what, Shane?
The battery, and I've learned in that time that that knives can be used for a lot of different things, including opening up your key fob.
Thank you.
So I'm super, and I'm not very technically savvy, as you know, and I'm certainly not a fix-it guy, but I'm very hesitant to like mess with the fob because like those things are expensive if you mess it up.
And there's very little margin for error to get the thing
and
off.
it's not totally clear where it's supposed to open.
I know.
Right?
Do you know why I use something other than? Do you know why I look for other things to open my fob? Because I split my thumbnail trying to run it along.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah,
that gives me the willies just thinking about
one and done.
Rico,
I'm only going to hurt myself once.
You've got the QB draft up and ready to go. Let's see where we're at on the.
Is that KB calling him out?
Yeah, KB was mad because KB lost his second quarterback for the season with Dylan Raiola going down. Austin Simmons is also he's not out for the year.
I have no idea how I'm last.
He's bad for the year. I also don't know how you're last because I've got a guy out for the season. KB's got 2 guys out for the season. I don't know how you're last, man. This isn't
I
doing
have
great.
Nico Iamaleava, and I have Lenore Sellers, and I have Sam Levitt. I don't know if you know this, but Sam
Levitt hasn't been playing.
Levitt
hasn't been playing, so that one's fair. That was good.
Sellers kind of does, but kind of doesn't.
And didn't Jackson Arnold get benched too?
Man, listen, I'm in trouble.
You nailed Mensah and Damon Williams, though. Nailed them. Just crushed it.
Those numbers that start with 2, they look kind of hefty.
Yeah, it is a TK Roston thing.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to stay out of the cellar with my man television.
I know. You and TV are battling it out there. Don't worry. I got Carson Beck throwing 18 interceptions a game, so that's cool.
They fell off.
I'm doing all right there. It's so that's the QB draft. We got a barn burner between TK and Team Roston here.
209 and 210.
Yeah, we are aggressively rooting for Team TK.
Did you see were you surprised that
although he needs Baron Morton to start playing again.
Were you surprised that the light-skinned dude was so animate about the tackle? That's not what I thought he was going to say.
I was.
He knows that's how I am, and I didn't even broach it during the broadcast because it was already emotional.
I mean, I said it. Well, I had not talked to you. I didn't know that's how you feel. Like I was not aware that was a thing for you. Like I don't know if
those tackles.
Yeah, I don't know if I like blocked it out or something. Like I don't know. I listen to you talk a lot, so not all of it sticks. But you also have a much better memory than I do on things like that. When like people like if I had said that, you'd probably remember it forever because you just retain things way better than I do.
Like the whole coming in low.
That thing was dirty as hell. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh yeah.
Like you know what I almost said during the severe interview.
The Trojan football account tweeted it out, and I was like, I don't know if I would have done that.
Yeah.
They weren't being snarky. They just were like,
hey, it's a big play. It's a fumble recovery. Yeah, I get it.
He literally grabbed him from behind and dropped down.
After the ball got knocked out, right? Like ball gets knocked out, grabs like this, completely comes off his feet and brings him down backwards. I thought it was dirty as hell. It was terrible.
The lead got buried though. UCLA is favored.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by that, even with TJ Lateef as the starter. I am. I thought it would be.
I told our buddy, hammer Nebraska. Get it now. Hammer Nebraska. The points, the win line, on the money line, hammer Nebraska.
Yeah, I was.
That's on a Monday, your boy is saying that.
I'll be fascinated what that number ends at.
Well, you're not going to get it any more than it is now if it's truly 3 or whatever somebody told me it was.
2.5, I believe, is what I saw it at.
Ludicrous.
That is
ludicrous.
I'm stunned. I thought Nebraska would still be favored. I think they're significantly better than UCLA. We'll see though. I mean, that's a road game.
But do you know what I think it is?
What's that?
So I think it's the narrative, nationally, that it's all about Nebraska and Dylan Raiola.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
And so they haven't been good in big games.
Mm-hmm.
You're on the road and you don't have your quarterback.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
I mean, I get I get the.
And Nebraska's earned all of it.
I get the narrative.
Yeah,
for sure. I'm a little surprised. I'm still just a little surprised that it's UCLA favored by 2.5. I thought maybe pick them, which we don't know what to do with the quarterback. We don't know what to do with Nebraska. But I mean, EJ's playing incredibly well, and as much maligned as the offensive line was, down to your 4th and 5th offensive tackles, I thought they played pretty well.
Yeah. Well, we weren't talking about the pressures.
No, we weren't talking. And also, how does EJ have 1,000 yards rushing through 9 games if the offensive line's that bad? Right? Like, I get he's doing a lot. I do. But you think you'd have 1,000 yards through 9 games if the offensive line was as bad as some people say it is? That'd be pretty hard to do, right?
That is a Linda Ronstadt. And who's my dude with the mole, Shane? Light-skinned dude? Singer? Don't know much.
Don't know much.
Oh, Aaron Neville?
Yes. I am neither her nor him. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know much. And I certainly don't love you.
I don't know much. But I know how
I want the Ducks. When do I need to be at the
November 8th, 2 to 5:30. So you're going to be in California. Sorry, bud. You want me to get you one?
Yes, I would like some Ducks.
I can go buy a couple, get the money to Team Jack and the Children's Foundation.
I'd like some ducks.
We'll see what we can do. You can't have the ones in my car right now. Those are special to me, but I have a couple.
I'm not a duck in the Jeep guy.
Yeah.
I typically make fun of people that were, but I have some people that live in our neighborhood a couple of blocks over that are huge Jeep people. I mean, I don't know if they can be friends with anybody that doesn't have a Jeep.
Really?
When all 16 of them come, they're all in Jeeps. And they're all ducked up. I mean, all over the place.
I feel left out sometimes because a lot of times the Wranglers get all the ducks. So the Grand Cherokees, like myself, don't get a lot of duck love, which is.
And I know you're going to be shocked, but my buddy is an anti-duck guy, and he is all Jeep. And your other fave, Queen, is a Jeep guy, and he's anti-duck.
That's why I like him.
So no ducks for Queen or Journey.
Listen, I like it when I like being part of the little duck gang. I don't mind when I get one. Like, I'm not gonna go out of my way.
Bring that up to Queen, because he's pretty mean spirited. He's gonna say some things that hurt your feelings.
I don't care. It's like when you're like, oh, you should have waited till like at your birthday when you're like, oh, you should have waited. You too bad you weren't drinking that seltzer around Tommy Frazier. I was like, you think I give a damn what Tommy Frazier thinks I'm drinking?
How about him coming out for the coin flip?
Hey, that was pretty cool.
So he's rallying the masses, that's for sure.
Listen, I like it. I mean,
gonna take everybody.
What do they say? Takes a village, or in this case, a whole state.
Gonna take everybody.
I think it's a.
You got Aaron Taylor out of the house. Shane, he still hasn't texted you.
I was gonna say we couldn't get Aaron Taylor out of the house. We were trying to get him to join us on Friday.
Oh, he's tough.
He
did love my text to him though.
Oh yeah.
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 Like actual love. I'm like, are you capable of that heart emoji? Like, don't push it. All right, I won't.
Oh. As we kind of go through, and we'll get into this more tomorrow as we talk to Brett Cianci at Pick Six Previews.
Wild weekend again.
Yeah. What are we doing with Auburn?
They're gonna have a new coach.
Yes. Where are they in your pecking order of jobs right now?
It's not a good job.
I think people think it's a good job.
It's just too toxic. You're not going to be better than Bama, and that's your rival.
And that's the goalpost, right? The goalpost is Bama, and that's not on the table, right? Like ever, not consistently. So, that'd be like if Michigan State's goalpost was Michigan. Like that's hard to do.
People do think Auburn's a good job.
I
Look
think
who they've turned and burned.
I think they do. I think people think Auburn's a good job. I think they see SEC. I think they see big money. I think they see a national championship this century, and people think Auburn's a good job.
Well, where are they with peace?
Like serenity?
Sure.
Or peace like you're carrying? Like
serenity.
Inner wellness?
Yes.
Serenity now. I do not think – I think it might be the most toxic job in college football.
Used to be A&M. That's settled down.
Seems like it. I still think A&M's very toxic, but
LSU's kind of tough. You know, 3 of their last 4 coaches have won national titles.
Yep.
And you hired a guy that was probably had the best resume of the bunch at the time.
And you fired all 3.
Well, Ed didn't help. Ed was doing Ogeron things.
Listen, I think Ed got what he came there for. And
Ed Ogeron has a national championship as head coach.
And Brian Kelly couldn't make a 12-team playoff.
So, should we get to Jay?
Oh, yeah, I didn't even see him on there. Let's talk to Jay. What do we got here?
Jay, good morning, man.
Jay, you with us, bud? What's up?
You there, Jay?
Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you.
Here.
Yep, what's up?
What's up, fellas?
How we doing?
I'm all right, man. After a pretty exciting and then just disappointing weekend, I'm going to make it. Here's what I got.
Were you encouraged or discouraged?
It's a mix.
Okay.
It's a mix. In some ways, I was encouraged. In other ways, I was a little bit disappointed. I don't want to say discouraged, but I would say a little disappointed with expectation. I want to say this. My wife and my daughters, my business partners, thank you for allowing me to get all this out instead of them having to hear it. So here's my spit, and I'll get out of here. Okay?
Yeah.
First thing, I'm going to address EJ, man. I want to apologize for him because in my mind, I keep putting him as a second-tier running back, and he has proven time and time again that he's a baller. So we should associate him with guys that ball for real. We shouldn't put question marks behind
who he is as a running back, and I'm speaking for me. So EJ is balling. He got 1,000 yards in a situation where no one expected it. Shout out to him. Dylan and TJ / now the fans, me included, at times we were like, put TJ in. Now we realize we got TJ, so now what are we gonna do? Right?
Cheer.
I think Dylan played a real game in the first half, bro. I think he bought for the first time. I'm gonna say, honestly, I felt like I saw Dylan Raiola and not Lil Patton. You feel me? When I see Dylan Raiola, that makes the offense run, and I saw it in the half. Very unfortunate that the play, happened the way it happened. He's injured, so shout out to him. His family prayers to him that he recovers and is better than he ever was. As far as TJ is concerned, I don't think TJ thought he was going to play today. I didn't think he was going to play Saturday. I didn't think he was going to see the field. And when he saw the field, I think he had to knock the rust off. And unfortunately, it came in a time in the game where he didn't have time to knock the rust off. We'll say that the offensive game plan looked good at times, but at times, you know what I'm saying, it was just little mistakes. I sent you a text message randomly, and I was like, I have a question mark in regards to if Dylan – let me say it this way. I don't know if y'all played the NCAA game on EA Sports, right? Mm-hmm. And you played you know how you could play where it's your career or whatever?
Yeah.
And you're the quarterback. And if you win games, they give you the option to change the play at the line screen. They give you like 4 or 5 plays you can toggle through. But if you make 3 or 4 bad choices, they take that away. You feel me? I feel like at parts of the season, man, Dylan had like 6 plays in him. You know what I mean? And
this is the first my career call we've had.
I'm just saying, it was the only way.
Road to the Heisman.
Don't beat me up. Do not beat me up. It's the only way I can make the analogy make sense without making it overcomplicated.
It's a good analogy. It's a good analogy. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I think he needs to. Well, obviously he's injured now, but I feel like earlier, we should take some of those plays away and just run what I call. You know what I'm saying? I know you have the option. I know you're smart and you're growing as a quarterback, but right now, run what I call, my guy. You feel me? Because if you're wrong, then I got to take the brunt of that. You feel me? If you're right, then you get the credit. So I'm like, just hear me out of it. Let me do my thing. And if I'm wrong, then, you know what I'm saying, then you can start to toggle and change things. All right. So I'm done on the offense. That's where I would say I was disappointed because I was encouraged. And then, slightly I was disappointed by some of the play calls and execution later on in the game. Now, the defense, I will say wholeheartedly, they are progressing, man. They're not a finished product, and it's dope that they are playing some of their better football later on in the season. The defensive line is the defensive line. We know that. We know that they are light, if you want to say that they're light, but I think at times they do play with tenacity. They do take plays off. Some of our more superstar guys tend to show you flashes of brilliance, and then like, come on, man, what are you doing? So I'm good with that. So overall, I would say it's disrespectful, even though I am not a gambler at all. Disrespectful for Nebraska not to be favored against UCLA. I think TJ Lateef, with a whole week of preparation, is going to show you what we believe he is. You cannot forget, Dylan Raiola was a true freshman starting quarterback last year, and we gave him the biggest, highest expectation. Why not give it to TJ? I think he's going to come in and ball. I think I heard you say earlier today that he's going to ball for his team. He's going to ball for his city. He's going to ball for his last name. And I think
he's competitive, man. He's a really competitive kid.
I think we're going to see it. And that little spark with no defensive coordinator all season has prepared for him. And he comes out and he runs the plays that I know Holgorsen has for a mobile quarterback. I know Holgorsen low-key is he's not excited, but he's a little bit like, there's so much more I can do because this guy can get out right around the corner and scoop. And when you can get around the corner and scoop, which we saw in that game, it adds 2 extra yards to every time EJ runs that zone read up the middle because they have to account for him coming around the edge. And that can give EJ just a little crease he needs to do what he do. I would have liked to have seen them run the zone read up and down the field. Don't stop it until they stop you from picking up 4 yards. But I'm watching from the couch. He's paid millions of bucks. I will take his thought process over mine. All right. Now, I'm done. Thank you for my time. I appreciate it. It's all out now. It's still GDR. We still can finish 9-3. Do not get weirded out by, the quarterback being hurt. If you believe that Matt Rule is a leader of men and can inspire men, you better believe he's going to use this for a positive for the team. And they're going to fight harder than we've seen them fight this year. And I'm excited to see it.
Go Big Red.
Have a great day, gentlemen.
Nice, Jay. Good call from Jay.
I am. This
call.
is typically where Coach Rule is at his best.
Yeah, that's why he does all the weird stuff that he does with like putting people in stressful situations and seeing how they react. Like, this is the point.
Yeah.
This is the stressful situation you're preparing for. What does it look like? And we're going to talk a lot about TJ Lateef over the course of the week, and I'm sure I do think there's things in Dana Holgerson's repertoire that TJ Lateef is probably a little bit better fit for that allows him to do. I also think you are we focus on that part. We forget you're also taking a lot off the table because of what Dylan Raiola does.
Yeah, the pre-snap stuff. And
you're taking a lot off the table because of what Dylan Raiola does. You're adding something back. Sure.
Now, I will say this, and it's always different real time, but TJ's super bright. So he gets a lot of the play. Like, I've seen I know how they prepare.
Yeah.
So they get work. He gets work.
And make no mistake, he can sling it.
Yeah. He gets freedom too.
Like, he can sling it. Like, I think that's kind of the misconception when I say things like, I expect him to use a little bit more mobile quarterback things and maybe get him rolled out a little bit or run more RPO where he's stretching the defense a little bit longer. That's not to say he can't throw. Somebody asked me on Twitter if I expect to see the Heinrich Harburg offense. Like, absolutely not. That's not what we're talking about here.
He can
TJ's a good quarterback. He probably, I think Dylan is truly special in the coverages, pre-snap reads, that whole part of it. So you're taking something off the table there, no matter how bright TJ is.
Yeah.
Right. We'll get into that a lot more this week, as well as everything else going on around the program, around college football, around the NFL. Maybe we'll talk Dodgers at some point. That still might be one of the best baseball games I've ever seen in my life.
It's one of the best series in the history of the World Series.
If you're the Blue Jays, you lost on a walk-off home run, right, early in the series, an 18-inning game, and a Game 7, 11-inning game where you had the bases loaded seemingly constantly in the last half of the game and could not push a run across. And then you have two of the more dramatic plays in the ninth inning with the force at home. And then the collision in left center where they're like, I guess we'll catch the ball. Like, unbelievable.
Yeah. Take control then, big fella.
Unbelievable.
Oh, and also don't forget today, shout out the Mavs as they take on Murray State.
Absolutely. Ryan Miller's Murray State.
Yeah, Nebraska women's basketball has got
college hoops this week, baby.
Well, we start today.
I know.
We're rolling.
It's time to go. Don't tell that to the NAI teams who've been playing for a week, though. Shout out to my boys.
My bad.
Small school ball. We love it. Hey, that's DB. I'm Ravi. We'll be back tomorrow. Hurrdat Sports Live.
See you. Have a good day. Love you.